Eward and Mike Salk.
Hello. All right, hello. Good morning, everybody. Brock and Salk, Seattle Sports on 710 SeattleSports.com and the Seattle Sports app, plus all the podcast platforms, of course, all of them. You know which one you like to use. You could try a different one if you want. Maybe use Apple. You want to change to Spotify. Maybe you want to go to YouTube and watch on video. All options for you. So find the show however is best. Let's see. Should we start with the Mariners? Good thing the Mariners won yesterday. Whew. It's a good thing Julio went yard yesterday, because that was not a good weekend for your Seattle Mariners. Not at all. Thankfully, Julio, as he tends to do, can erase a lot of the other problems that the Mariners bring. But that was not a good weekend for your Seattle Mariners, especially the offense.
Checked in on Lyle yet?
Lyle's here. In fact, he seems reasonably awake and engaged this morning. I don't know. What's going on, buddy? How are we? I'll ask the question right off the bat today. Is it time to panic? Are we panicked? How are we feeling? What's the panic level?
I feel like I'm not allowed to say yes to this question.
Say whatever you want. I said I'm not. I was not going to get mad at anybody. Panic away. Let's go. Panic. Where are we at?
I'm not going to panic. You are, though, seeing a lot of the same issues as last year.
I agree. 100%. 1,000%. Totally agree. Panic. If you're panicking after 4 games, that's not right. Seriously. Don't panic. Nobody should panic after one series of baseball. Cal hasn't hit yet. Like, there's things that are going to happen that haven't happened that obviously, like, you gotta chill. You can't panic.
A lot of bullpen help on the way. Yeah.
100%. But their offense looked terrible. Awful. And if I said, funnily enough, if I said on Friday that Thursday night's opener was, I'm sure to Jerry, somewhat redeeming, somewhat vindicating based on the way they won that game, the rest of the weekend was the exact opposite of that. It was a complete takedown of everything they did or didn't do this offseason. Their offense looked exactly the same as it always has. And this idea of, we're just going to change the offensive philosophy, I don't know whether they changed it or not, but from what I saw, the problems were the same and the successes were the old model. They walked and they hit a couple home runs. That's how they scored their runs, walks and home runs. It wasn't bunts and steals and going the other way and all that stuff. They've won the games where they hit big home runs and taken the right walks. And the other games, they look the same. They struck out 41 times over the 4 games. What are we talking about? It's the same thing.
You kind of beat me to it. How hilarious is it that the only reason they won those 2 games is essentially because of 3 home runs?
Yes.
Randy, Polo, and Julio.
That's it. That's your ball games. They're not scoring. They're not doing all, like, taking advantage of the little things at T-Mobile Park. They didn't do any of that. It's so funny, man. It's a riot to read. I wish you guys had the opportunity sometimes, all of you out there, to sit here in this chair and read through the texts, not just one day, but on a daily basis, because it gives you a fascinating insight in. When the Mariners hit and win, Edgar fixed the Mariners. When the Mariners lose, Jerry DiPoto screwed up the Mariners. There's no opposite. And I'm not saying that Jerry fixed the Mariners nor that Edgar, is a problem. But it is funny to see the narrative that develops. And I do think Jerry is going to bear a lot of the responsibility if this offense doesn't hit. He bet on an offensive philosophy change being more important than the talent that was here. Of course he did. Right? I mean, like, he built the talent. So he had to make some level of change. But it is funny. when the offense clicks, oh, man, Edgar, what a job. He built this whole thing. It's amazing. Edgar's incredible. And then when you go through 3 games like they did Friday, Saturday, Sunday against, let's face it, mediocre A's pitching. This isn't exactly, they're not facing a series of Cy Young Award winners in Oakland. It's the exact opposite, right? It's like Jerry screwed it up. I don't know, man. What I panic? No, you shouldn't panic. Nobody should panic after 3 or 4 games of baseball. That seriously is ridiculous. But I will say, and I'll say it a few times today, the first 4 games of a team that did almost nothing to change its lineup and roster in the offseason is more indicative and more value, more what's the word I'm looking for? Like it means more to the process, to the evaluative process, because it's not new. It's the same. It's a continuation of last year, not like some new 4-game sample size. You can consider this 4 games really just built right on to the end of 2024 because the roster's so similar. So I got to tell you, I do believe that this offense, I've always kind of believed that this offense is going to struggle. This isn't new. It's fun when people ascribe various thoughts and beliefs and comments to me on the internet, most of which is untrue, which is fine. But I've had serious questions about this offense from the beginning. I've never believed that the last 6 weeks was a good bet. I don't bet on 6 weeks of baseball as opposed to 3-4 years of watching roughly the same lineup. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I've said often the Mariners are making that bet. And to believe that this offense is going to be better is to believe that the offensive philosophy changes are enough to take players that we're not hitting and help them hit. But I'm not sure I've ever believed that. I mean, there's a world in which it works. Of course it does. For everyone who gets mad about the "it's baseball" phrase, like that's kind of what it means. It could work. Of course it could. Right? It could work. They could steal bases and drive the other team crazy and lead to a whole bunch of different... Of course that can work. But betting on it to work is not something that I ever would have done. Not even a little bit. So is it time to panic? No. Good text, 425. Is it illuminating? Yes. It was absolutely illuminating this weekend. It was absolutely illuminating this weekend. Yes.
Are we going to talk about Gino at all?
Sure.
I know it's mostly about the Mariners weekend and what they did against the A's, but I could not help that Gino hit. I could not help but notice Gino hit 4 homers in the first weekend.
Yeah. Go back a year plus, year and a half. Terrible trade. Awful. It was an absolutely awful decision to make that trade. Awful. It was a total screw up. Screwed up the locker room, clubhouse. Screwed up the offense, right? But again, like baseball, look, it's Jerry's job to get that right at the end of the day. They have to get that right. But it is a little that guy was on the verge of being released in Arizona 8 months ago.
It's a fair point.
Right? There is that element of... predicting baseball is incredibly challenging, especially for a guy like Gino, who has been as volatile as he's been in his career. But that's what you get paid to do. That's the gig.
And they knew that when they brought him in. After he was about to get released, then he just was on fire.
Mm-hmm. Sure was. He's the best. He's like the best hitter in baseball.
Take a guy like that, you have to ride with the ups and downs.
I would totally agree. And they become a lot more worth it because of what he brings to the clubhouse and sort of that force multiplier conversation that we've had a bunch. So, yeah, I'm not panicked this morning. Do I think that because the Mariners went 1-3, they're going to lose 85, 90 games? No, of course not. That's silly. Do I think the ballpark factored in? Yeah, probably. We saw a bunch of those balls. What did I see? Randy's ball that he hit to the wall lost 28 feet or something
28.
of projected distance because of the wind. Yeah, I'm sure that's real. 30 feet? Guys, that's a lot. That's a lot to lose because of the wind, and I'm sure it's frustrating to play here. Tough noogies. This is where you play. Right? That's the gig. Same as for Jared. Sorry, that's the job. The job right now is to play here. If you want to get frustrated, it's only going to, it's only going to lead to a death spiral. Not a good weekend. But then Julio hit a home run because that's what Julio can do. And he can erase a lot of the other problems that this roster has. It was funny on our text thread going back and forth about it. Lyle, Brock, Moore, and I were just kind of going back and forth about the lineup and the offense. And, Lyle correctly saying, like, hey, if this thing really goes wrong, there's going to be, X, Y, and Z issues to look at. And he's right. I mean, everything he said was right. And my response was like, yeah, all that is true. Totally agree. Also, if Julio hits, this whole conversation goes away. And how much longer before Julio hit that home run? Like a minute and a half, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, right? I mean, like minutes later, Julio goes yard. They win the game 2-1, and he saves the day because he's that kind of talented. So again, Julio gets hot. Cal starts hitting. And I think a lot of these conversations will change. But if you're upset about what you saw this weekend, I don't blame you for 1 second. I was pretty upset too. Because it's kind of what I expected to see. Unfortunately. All right. We'll take a quick break. More is going to take us around the weekend. At some point today, I'll probably talk about my daughter who had a phenomenal weekend up in Canada with her hockey tournament. It was so fun being up there. Great people. It's beautiful up there. Just, the 30% off of everything is nice. But we'll come back and give you guys everything you need to know, including some audio of said Julio home run. It's next on Brock and Salk.
When you're on the pitch clock and don't have time for your favorite Seattle sports shows, listen to the podcasts on demand.
How about that? Unbelievable. Who would have thought?
Every hour, every interview, every look behind the scenes.
Dan Wilson's the new skipper.
This is a window. This is a time where we can get it done, and that's the hope. That's the vision for this club.
Find us on SeattleSports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you get podcasts.
Holy smokes!
Never miss a minute of Seattle sports, the home of the Mariners.
Washington State has the third highest cost of living in the nation. If Olympia politicians raise taxes again, the cost of everything from groceries and gas to housing will go up even more. They've already doubled spending over 10 years, with little to show for it. Washington State needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Demand smarter state spending now at affordablewashington.org. Paid for by people for an affordable Washington and Olympia, Washington. Top 5 donors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Alaska Air.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home and make price-boosting upgrades with no cost until close. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Tuning into your favorite team's game or actually going to the stadium is better when you feel at your best. If something's not quite right, reduce tension and pain and increase flexibility with expert-assisted stretching at StretchLab. Each session is customized to your body's needs with your unique goals in mind. Visit your local StretchLab today or go to StretchLab.com to get up to 50% off your first 50-minute stretch. Plus, get an additional $10 off with code FAN10. That's code FAN10 at StretchLab.com.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
Need a new roof but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
At Lowe's, pros save big on the supplies you need to get the job done. With the new My Lowe's Pro Rewards program, get member-only deals every week and access to free standard shipping. Plus, members earn points toward exclusive rewards. Join for free today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. Program subject to terms and conditions. Free standard shipping not available in Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
With Progressive's collision coverage, my family gets up to $1,000 for vet bills if I'm injured in a car accident. And that makes this Chihuahua really feel like part of the family. What's that? I don't sound like a Chihuahua? Oh, I'm sorry. What exactly am I supposed to sound like? I guess all Chihuahuas are high-strung, riding around in expensive designer purses. Actually, I prefer riding in cars. So I appreciate that my family protects me with Progressive's pet collision coverage. Okay, maybe I am a little high-strung. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Not available in all states. Coverage for dogs and cats is included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Well, it could have been better, and it could have been worse, thankfully. The Mariners were outscored 14-8, but they managed to come away with a series split at home against the A's. That thanks to 3 huge home runs, the 2 Thursday night in the 8th inning, and then Julio's prodigious blast yesterday.
Here's the pitch to Julio. There goes Robles. Swung on and destroyed. Lift off here. Upper deck on its way. Goodbye. Nearly to the top of the upper deck. That was absolutely destroyed. Julio, a monster 2-run home run, and the Mariners lead 2-1. A no-doubt moonshot by Julio.
It was no doubt. He knew it. That's for sure. He celebrated it before it was even out of the ballpark. Not that took very long. First of the year for Mr. Rodriguez. Earliest he's ever hit a home run in a season, and it made a winner out of Brian Wu, who continued his dominance over the A's. 6 innings, only allowed the single run, a solo shot. Afterwards, he did talk about how much success he's had against that ball club.
Yeah, I think when they're on like they were today, I think, you continue to trust them, and they set up other pitches well. I didn't do as good a job with the off speeds today of just, trusting them and getting to their spots. And, obviously the homer is unfortunate, but I think continue to attack and you get ahead with those, and then opens up a lot of other options for you.
And it is fun to watch him throw fastballs and just see how frustrated the offense looks trying to hit them, because it's not like he's throwing 102. He's got a good, there's certainly some velocity on it, but I just remember Scott saying that hitters feel like the ball's not where it's supposed to be when he's throwing his fastballs. And you got to see a lot of that frustration yesterday. Unfortunately, the other side of it, and watching this team continue to be mystified by soft-throwing left-handers, is incredibly frustrating to watch. And We'll see what they look like here over the course of the next 3. Emerson Hancock will get his first start of the season tonight against the Tigers. Detroit, not a good start for them. They were swept in L.A. by the Dodgers, which is going to happen to some teams when they go to L.A. and face the Dodgers. Texas, if you're looking around the AL West, they started 3-1, though they may have lost Josh Young again. Angels and Astros both 2-1 after the first series of the year.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
NFL has their spring meetings today in Palm Beach, Florida. The league is going to have a whole debate about banning the tush push. They're going to talk about changing kickoffs again. They'll reportedly begin a push for an 18-game season, which I think we all knew was going to happen eventually. John Schneider, Mike McDonald, they'll both be there. Both will speak to the media, so maybe some news will come out of that. Pete Carroll spoke this morning. There were questions about Geno Smith's deal, and he said, quote, "We're working on it." Okay. How long has it been a month yet? Got to be coming up on a month, right? We're not probably quite there yet, but it's certainly been 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks now, maybe, since the Geno trade. Crickets out of Vegas about any sort of a deal. And, I'll just keep saying it. I don't think Geno signs until Brock Purdy signs. And if I were him, I wouldn't. And if once Brock Purdy signs, I'll say, great, I'm not paying for a penny less than that.
I think March 7th was the trade about.
All right. So what's that? 24 days. 3.5 weeks.
Close to a month.
Yeah, 3.5 weeks. Yeah. I mean, and again, if I'm Geno, that's my point of view. Cool. You don't want to deal with it yet? Fine. No problem. When this guy over here, Brock Purdy, signs his deal, great. Just pay me $1 more. We'll be good to go. I'm not paying for less than that guy. I got a better arm. I'm more accurate, et cetera, et cetera. Pay him, and then we'll talk about how much I'm worth. That would be my strategy if I were Geno. Elsewhere, let's see. I kind of like this sound. We have a minute for it here. This is Connor Orr, who was on Friday, talking about Mike McDonald's defense.
Someone described it to me like a virus. A virus attacks the body. It just gets in there, and it starts taking things apart one by one, and to the point where, you're scrambling just to find the root cause of it, but by then you're sort of shut down. It's sort of a graphic image, I guess. And so by the time you have figured out what's being done to you, it's already evolved to the point where something else is happening and something else is happening. And, it builds on itself. And so I think that's why so many people like it.
Yeah, and it's just a reminder that for all of the talk about the offense, which is where a lot of the conversation has been this offseason, it's still the defense that is the closest thing to being elite and the thing that is probably going to lead this team back to the playoffs eventually.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Final Four is going to have all the number 1 seeds for the first time since 2008. I can't believe my bracket didn't go through. I picked chalk. I'd be in it, man. I have all 4 right now. If only the darn thing had gone through. I'd be winning. Kicking all your butts. Kraken mathematically eliminated this weekend. 5-1, they lose to Dallas. Scored first and then gave up 5 straight, unfortunately. 8 games left to play. Currently the 5th worst team in the league with a chance to fall as low as maybe the 3rd worst record, but it could also go up to 7 or 8. So remember, the NHL does have a draft lottery. There's no guarantee that losing would shore up a better pick, but, it would give you a better chance at it. They've got Dallas again tonight. Dallas, one of the best teams in the league. So that is everything you need to know. 1/4 every hour here on the Brock and Salk Show. Let's see. Just looking at the text. Dave Sims, probably happy to be in New York. Well, you guys are going to hear some sound that deals with that coming up in a few minutes. Tyler says, Polanco looks clean in the box, and with Perry Hill coaching him, I'm not worried at all about his defense. I am. I'm worried about his defense. I'm very worried about his ability to make that throw. Very worried. Does look good in the box, though. It's nice. It is funny. Like, the one move that sort of epitomizes the Mariners not doing a lot this offseason is bringing back Jorge Polanco to play third, and he's been their best hitter. It's kind of funny. Stupid baseball. And then, of course, everybody wants to talk about the torpedo bats. More are the torpedo bats in around the weekend. Will we get to torpedo action here and around the weekend?
It can be.
All right, make sure we hear something about the torpedo bats because they are taking the baseball world by storm. It's next. More is going to bring us all the way around the weekend. Coming up on Brock and Salk.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
We are now speaking with the architect of your Seattle Seahawks.
How we doing, football fans?
With Seahawks President of Football Operations and General Manager John Schneider.
My job is to do what's best for the Seattle Seahawks organization. I have to keep wrapping my mind around that and trying to communicate effectively.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
What's the standard the Seahawks defense needs to be held to under Mike McDonald?
The John Schneider Show.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
Look, there's feelings, and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is, you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service. 98 years providing logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linens, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. Visit suplinen.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know that your windows and doors are your main source of energy loss? At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, our windows with triple weather stripping and gasket seals are up to 25% more efficient than Energy Star standards. LakeWashingtonWindows.com, a name you can trust.
When I wake up
The best mornings
in the morning light,
start with Wrangler.
pull on my jeans and I feel alright.
Jeans, jackets, and shirts that get your day started on the right foot.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Good mornings make for better days.
I pull my blue jeans on. I pull my old blue jeans on.
Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Whether you're building a single roof or a successful roofing business, roofing contractors like you need the right tools for the job, and software is no exception. Service Titan is on a mission to be the most powerful software platform for the trades, with purpose-built technology proven to maximize revenue, streamline operations, and deliver 5-star customer experiences. We are taking roofing companies like yours to the next level and beyond. Service Titan. We are built for this. See what we can do for roofers at servicetitan.com.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
The noon hour of the Bump and Stacy Show is powered every day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. Saturday night, May 10th. Experience the thrill of live MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this exciting mixed martial arts event. The World Fighting Championships, May 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Looking for a smart way to improve your home comfort without breaking the bank? 2 words, heat pump. John Curley here. Upgrade to Home Comfort Alliance Heat Pump and get efficient heating in the winter and cooling in the summer in one unit. Heat pumps use less energy and are environmentally friendly. Plus, enjoy 18 months, same as cash financing, and up to 15% off all heat pumps and air conditioning systems through March. Home Comfort Alliance for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Hey, Mike Salk here with special guest Ryan Rowland-Smith, and we love having Hyphen on the show to talk a little baseball, but today, talking about something a bit more personal, yet really exciting. Hyphen, share all the good news.
Thanks, Mike. Look, I've been hearing for about 2 years now how you did the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic plan and how you lost a ton of weight. I decided to see what the program was all about, and I'm so glad I did. So far, I've lost 30 pounds in just 60 days, and my only regret is not starting sooner.
Well, I'm happy for you. What's been the best part of the program so far?
Honestly, how simple it's been. There's no crazy exercises, no counting calories or scary shots or injections, no side effects or any of that stuff. I feel healthier, I'm sleeping better, I'm eating delicious meals, and the accountability plus communication from the Eastside Weight Loss Clinic team has made it fun.
Man, that is awesome, buddy. Would you recommend it?
Yes. To anyone listening, I was in your shoes. Just schedule a 15-minute consult at Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. It's all you have to do to start.
Dr. Ryan Coogan, DC. Results may vary.
Brock and Salk's Rewind is presented by Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Watched an Instagram reel this weekend with this song. Somebody had programmed a bunch of like Tesla coils, electric coils, to make the sounds of that song, and it was kind of weird, but it was cool. If you like Toto, you can see if you can find that somewhere on Instagram or wherever you like to get your short videos. It's Brock and Salk Show, Seattle Sports on 710.
Random shout out.
Huh?
That was very random.
I saw it like late last night, so it's sort of still on my mind, I guess, and I want to show it to Avery. I think I may have mentioned Avery is going to be playing, or she's singing that song for her current rock band performance. So Toto's been on my mind recently, specifically that song. So when I saw the guy who created the, I'll show you in the break. You'll love it. More, you'll be astounded by the guy who programmed these electric coils. I can tell. You seem pretty excited. Instead of moving forward, why don't you take us back in time and help us through the weekend?
Okay, well, as you mentioned, maybe not the best weekend for the Mariners, so we'll get a little bit into those games, but I wanted to start with some fun stuff. The Mariners held a press conference for Cal Raleigh's contract extension over the weekend, and Cal getting a little emotional when he talked about it.
I would just tell him to kind of believe in what we're trying to do here.
Wait, that is not the cut that I wanted. That was him being asked what he would say to guys that might consider coming here.
I think I got it here. Here you go.
I just want to say thank you to all my coaches, everybody in the organization. You guys have treated me very well over the past 9 years. Yeah, it's weird. So this is the only place I've ever known, and I'm hoping this will be the only place that I ever have to know. So all the people that have helped me get here, obviously my teammates, thank you very much. It really means a lot. My family too. Thank you guys. My mom and dad. Thank you guys for giving me all the opportunities in the world, and my brothers and sisters for always being there for me. I know it's hard being all the way out in Seattle, but I do love it here, and thank you guys for everything.
Oh, that is sweet. Now I spent a lot of the weekend crying, so I'm like, you're attacking a wounded man over here. Okay, like,
you're vulnerable.
I'm very vulnerable right now. That's lovely. That's a really wonderful sentiment.
I love that it was when he started talking about his family.
Well, of course it was.
I mean, he already kind of told us how much support he feels like he got from his parents at spring training when you talked to him.
We spent a lot of time talking to guys about their families this year at spring training. Again, it's been sort of on my mind as going through this youth sports journey, kind of for the first time. And yeah, I mean, I think we asked all the guys. We asked him. We talked to Logan. We talked to Bryce. We talked to all these guys about the role that their families played in their lives, kind of getting them to where they are. Hearing Cal talk like that was awesome. Remember, we were talking about what he got from both his father and his mother, and kind of what each of them brought to his journey. Well, hearing him break down, talking about it was awesome. And I will admit, like, it hits home with me after spending the weekend up in, British Columbia. There were 175 girls hockey teams together at this tournament.
It's a lot of little girls.
They're not all little.
I just imagine a lot of
They were
screaming.
ages 8 through 21.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, they were teenager. I mean, all the way on up. So it was not, dude, and it was very, very cool. I mean, like, just seeing that number of people, and like, the girls are just such badasses. I'm like, I don't really know how else to say it. Like, that image that there was like a lot of screaming, it was like the exact opposite of that. It was just like a bunch of, can't even say tough guys, tough gals. Like, just, they were just cool. And seeing the sacrifices that parents make, there was teams that drove 24 hours from way north of Vancouver. Teams drove in from the Yukon. I mean, like, they came from forever, and some of those sacrifices that parents are willing to make for their kids, and then the siblings who show up for them as well. Look, in our case, it's been easy and fun and a pleasure. In other cases, I'm sure it's much more challenging. And to hear Cal kind of feel all of that in the moment, yeah, it's pretty cool, and it hits home.
Yeah, so I was sitting there on Friday, and honestly, I was pretty surprised when I saw him start to get pretty emotional. And he has every right to do so, obviously, but it's just, he's so stoic and locked in most of the time that it was pretty cool to see how much he really cared about this.
Well, what I hear there when he's talking is I sort of imagine him, maybe he was doing this, maybe not, but maybe I'm projecting onto him, thinking back on the whole journey. Thinking back on, going to travel tournaments or whatever else his parents brought him to, and thinking about how all of that hard work paid off in this enormous contract that's going to now take care of him and his family for the rest of their lives. That's got to be a pretty heady moment. And when you start talking about it, yeah, the tears just tend to fall out.
Well,
pretty cool.
We know this team likes to have fun, so when things maybe got a little too serious there, his teammates, who was very cool to see, like, the entire team attend this press conference too. His teammates decided to have a little fun with him. Bryce Miller playing reporter and asking a question here.
So, no. So last week we went to Mastro's to eat, and you let Logan put his card down. So I'm wondering if you plan on reimbursing him. Well, the deal wasn't done yet, so. No, I'm not going to reimburse him. He still owes me a few for some dirt balls I've had to block for him, so.
That's a good answer.
That whole thing was genuinely funny. I mean, Bryce is genuinely funny,
Yes.
first off. And then I thought it was really funny that as soon as Cal looked up and saw who had the mic, he's like, oh, no. And you hear it in the sound.
Yeah. Like, oh, boy. Here we go.
Uh-huh.
And then Brian Wu got involved too, right?
Yeah, Brian Wu had one also.
In football, when the QB gets paid, he does a pretty good job of taking care of his O-linemen. O-linemen don't get a whole lot of credit, in the trenches with you every day. You put any thought towards taking care of your O-linemen?
Usually it's the other way around. The pitcher's supposed to take care of the catcher, right?
The QB.
No, I don't know. We'll think of something. Maybe I'll get you guys a gift or something. Something small.
I've seen Rolexes. I've seen cars. Just putting it out there.
I'll think about you guys.
I definitely don't think the pitching staff of the Mariners can call themselves the O-linemen of this team.
Like the forgotten, misunderstood,
Yeah.
overlooked heroes. No. And all 5 of those guys are going to get paid if they're not already. I mean, Luis is obviously making money. That's good. Good job, guys. That's pretty funny.
I enjoyed it. All right, we'll get into some of the games here.
Nah, that's fine. We don't have to. Yeah. Let's do it.
Friday, the offense couldn't get anything going, only mustering 3 hits and putting up 0 runs in Jeffrey Springs' A's debut. Luis Castillo gave up 2 runs on 3 hits with 2 walks and 4 strikeouts over 5 innings. The A's took a 2-0 lead in the top of the 5th when Brent Rooker hit a Luis Castillo fastball out of the park. Then Edward Bizardo gave up 3 runs in the 7th. Taylor Sacedo and Carlos Vargas each gave up a solo shot, so that brought the A's tally to 7. The Mariners had 2 runners on and 1 out in the 5th when Dylan Moore hit a blooper to center, but Mitch Garver tried to score from second and was thrown out at home. They also had back-to-back walks from Arozarena and Garver to start the 7th, but couldn't get anything going behind them. So they did have some chances, but the A's win 7-0. Dan Wilson was asked post-game about how their new approach works against lefties with changeups like Springs, and this is what he had to say.
I mean, I think with those types of pitchers, our approach doesn't change. We're still looking to use middle of the field, but I think, when those guys, have good command, they're tough to beat, and that's what he was able to do tonight. Sped us up on the inside part and then slowed it down on the outside part, and, mixed in the slider from time to time too, but I thought his changeup was pretty good.
He was asked because I think it was Divish that asked, said it was a struggle. It was a kryptonite for them last year is what he called it.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like there's a new plan.
Well, you got to tip your cap to Jeffrey Springs, obviously. But when you get Jeffrey Springs out there, you want to make sure that you just tip your cap. There's not that much you could do. Legendary pitcher Jeffrey Springs.
He's good.
He's fine. It is a problem for them. There's no other way to say it. It's a problem for them. And, looking at the line, did they have 8 righties in the lineup? They've done a great job of loading up the lineup against lefties with right-handed hitters. The problem is when those lefties throw changeups, those right-handed hitters seem to be baffled by it and doesn't work for them. So seeing them struggle like that in game 2 against the lefty, I think brought back a lot of scars for a lot of people, a lot of wounds, and for good reason. They just look hideous against pitchers like that.
Yeah, it is funny. For as many problems as the offense has had over the last couple years, it is these soft-throwing junk baller lefties that really seem to run into issues with. JP Sears on Sunday, I know we'll get to that same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if you were to design someone in a lab to beat them, that's who it would be. Yeah. People who this is hard, man. I'm struggling a little bit because I'm with you, man. I really feel like these 3 games, really all 4 games that we've seen, were perfectly indicative of what we saw all of last year, short of about a 4-week stretch where they caught fire. And really then it was like Julio and Robles played like 2 of the best players ever.
I'll throw Rayleigh into that too. But
Rayleigh, all right, all 3 guys hit. Yeah, we're all world, like Joe DiMaggio for a month and a half. Well, when you don't have 3 guys randomly hitting like the 27 Yankees, you're not going to look like that. And so this is sort of the offense I feel like they have, and I'm not necessarily a believer, and nor have I ever been, that an approach was going to change drastically your offensive results. Hitting coaches, to me, are, I won't say irrelevant, that's not fair, but in today's game of baseball, hitting coaches are just not, they're not the catalyst, they're not the prime mover to change the way teams behave. They're just not.
It's not like having a Ben Johnson OC in football.
That's right. It's just not. Most of these guys have their own hitting coach. In fact, all of them have their own hitting coach. The hitting coaches are going to be very valuable in terms of how you filter through data. And honestly, that's sort of a person-to-person thing. Yeah, maybe they drifted too far into the too much data thing. All right, well, I wonder if now they're going to drift too far away from it. Anyway, that was a tough game. And I think what was hard about it was watching some of the same wounds opened up once again. Watching Vargas and Saucedo at the end of the game didn't help.
Yeah, that's something where, like you said, hopefully there's more positive things to come.
That gave us an answer on the 162 battles thing, by the way. Like, oh, okay. But when you're down 4-0, you're just going to throw Saucedo and Vargas out there like every other manager does and should. You're not like battling and bringing in your top reliever in those moments, try to keep it close. You bring in Vargas and Saucedo, and unfortunately, those guys aren't very good, and the ball got hit out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of how it went on Friday.
Can't argue that. All right, Saturday, Bryce Miller went 5 2/3 innings, giving up 3 runs on 6 hits, walking 2 and striking out 4. He gave up a 2-run home run to Langoliers in the 4th, but got out of a bases-loaded jam in the 5th with a Brent Rooker strikeout. That was a tough inning. Miller says he knows what he wants to change moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, I like where the splitter was at, and I like where the curveball was at, and just need to execute. You know, I got to 2 strikes quite a bit, it felt like, and then I made some mistakes, like to Rooker, I get to 2 strikes, and I throw a slider over the plate. There's just a couple that I could circle where, you know, I was in finish counts and didn't finish, and, you know, moving forward, we'll just focus on, you know, finishing at bats and not letting innings, you know, like that 5th build up, and a lot of high-stress pitches in the 5th that, you know, we have a clean 5th, and we're easily through the 6th and maybe into the 7th. So, but first one out of the way, so now we'll, you know, start rolling.
Do you remember at spring training he was telling you about, like, 2 games in particular last year that still stick in his mind?
Yeah.
Where he felt like he didn't pitch well. But how he used those moving forward to not make those same mistakes again. So I tend to listen when he says, like, hey, I got that one out of the way, and now I'm going to be...
Yeah, I mean, I trust Bryce Miller. He's a pretty good pitcher, and even the other night, he was still pretty good.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the best he's ever been. Thankfully, I mean, I think that's a great call in terms of his ability to use that to motivate. The 2 last year were, by his accord, more about prep. I didn't get that sense this time, which is great. It's about finish. It's about execution, and you know, if he can just make that one adjustment, Bryce Miller's going to be fine. This pitching staff's going to be fine. Like, these guys are really good. The pitching's still really good all weekend long. The A's they got a better lineup than the Mariners do. And I thought the Mariners pitched pretty darn well outside of, you know, the back of that bullpen, or the bottom tier of that bullpen. Unfortunately, you know, again, the problem was the same on Saturday. They didn't hit.
That A's lineup does deserve a little more credit than they get.
They're a good little lineup.
They are good. And
Yeah.
I think I've said it all offseason. I think that's a frisky team. I mean, Rooker and Butler are real hitters, and the first 6 guys in that lineup, they've got a chance to really hit. Soderstrom had a phenomenal weekend.
Soderstrom looked great.
Yeah. I mean, that's a first rounder.
Yeah.
Of course he's going to figure it out at some point.
Yeah, no, they got some dudes in that lineup, and then some of the other guys that you aren't as familiar with are pesky and give you a good at bat and don't throw them away. You know, you'll get to yesterday's game in a moment, but, you know, to see Brian Wu dominate that lineup and see Logan dominate that lineup, those shouldn't just be overlooked. That's pretty impressive. It's a decent lineup, not an incredible lineup. It's not it's not one of the 5 best in the league, but it's a good lineup, right? Middle of the pack, probably somewhere, and. Yeah, I the frustration Saturday, once again, is the hitting, some of the mistakes that were made, you know, honestly, kind of moving things around. And there was a series of events that lead to, you know, Luke Raley hitting against a lefty reliever in a big spot in the 7th inning, I want to say. Like, I didn't love that.
You can't tell me that first inning didn't feel a little ominous on Saturday, right? When they have bases loaded, nobody out, they don't score any runs. I'm kind of sitting there thinking, are they going to score?
I didn't get to see the first. I came late, so I got to admit. I mean, I was up in Canada all weekend long. I was, you know, at this tournament, so I was sort of in and out. I did spend more time than I'm proud of sitting by myself with my phone, like using data to watch Mariner games on Fubo. So I was still like engaging, but I was not able to watch every inning. So I didn't see the first inning on Saturday.
Well, the first inning,
bases loaded. So what?
Bases loaded, nobody out.
Yeah.
There was a hard line out that resulted in a double play, and then they didn't score. I know. They got unlucky. I'm not saying. That's another story from this weekend, too. There was a lot of bad luck that went the Mariners' way also this weekend, but when you saw that happen in the first inning, there was a little bit of thought of, was that their big opportunity in that game? And it felt like it was.
Yeah.
All right, I'll kind of skim through yesterday so we can get to some of these NCAA games too. But yeah, Brian Wu went 6 innings, as you said, pretty strong outing, giving up just 3 hits, 1 run, striking out 5. The bright spots were Julio's home run in the 6th that ultimately got them the win, and Andres Munoz looking pretty good, shutting the door with a strikeout of Gio Urshela in the top of the 9th. You ready for some college basketball? Your favorite?
I didn't watch any of that. I'll tell you. I mean, it was barely on. It's so funny. You go to a bar in Canada. We're just in the hotel lobby bar, and they got TVs on. 3 or 4 TVs. Hockey is on all the time. There is never a moment where one of the TVs is not playing either hockey or hockey highlights or something. And then elsewhere, I saw Aussie rules football. I saw curling. I mean, like, they got everything on other than what you might see in a bar here. It's like a different world. 2 hours away.
All right, well, the Final Four is going to feature all number 1 seeds for the first time since 2008. I wonder if we're seeing a little bit of what Jay Williams said at the beginning of the tournament coming true, where you're not going to see as many Cinderella teams in this transfer portal era. But Houston beat Tennessee 69-50 Sunday to advance to the Final Four for the second time in the past 5 seasons. The Volunteers had a rough day. They missed 14 of their first 3-point attempts, and trailing by as many as 22 in the first half. Guard LJ Cryer led Houston with 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. The Cougars will face number 1 Duke in the Final Four next week. Duke also dominated their game against number 2 seed Alabama Saturday with an 85-65 victory. There's just not a lot of close games in this tournament either. Alabama star Mark Sears had 34 points against BYU Thursday, but was held to just 6 by Duke on Saturday.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Con Kneppel had 21 and Cooper Flagg posted 16 for the Blue Devils. This win sends them to their first Final Four since John Shire took over for Coach K in 2022. He spoke after the game about trying to find success after taking over for a legend.
As I was going through the interview process, I did my homework when you look at successions, and very, very rarely is this thing, do people succeed, following. I mean, there's Coach K's one of one, but following a legendary or a great coach. I'll tell you, for me, a huge thing was having that year, though. And for Coach K to be able to have the vision. I don't know how many coaches genuinely want to see the program succeed when they leave. And for me, I've always wanted to make him proud of him wanting to. Part of his legacy isn't just the wins. I want his legacy to be how our program continues to, be right there as a top program.
You said the guy's name was Con Kneppel? That's a heck of a name.
I know.
I like that.
I made sure to listen to some highlights. So I got
Make sure you say that one right.
I know.
All right, so we got 4 number 1 seeds. When do they play? Like a few weeks?
No, I think we
Thursday?
have, I think it's this weekend.
Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah.
All right.
I actually feel like you have to have more guts to pick all 1 seeds in your bracket than not. I actually think that takes more guts because that never happens. And the fact this just happened, it's pretty wild.
And I picked it, and it didn't go through. It's terrible. Really getting screwed here.
Well,
what about
we'll
the torpedo
have
bats?
Some closer games now that it's all 1 seeds. Oh, you want to skip
I
ahead?
want the torpedoes. One other team has
Auburn will
ordered
face Florida on
torpedoes.
Saturday in the Final Four. All right. So the torpedo bats, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Tell me about the torpedoes.
Calm down. Well, here is the Yes Network describing these new Yankees bats that they're using during a Jazz Chisholm and Anthony Volpe at bat.
Now, you see the shape of Chisholm's bat.
Dude, it's got a big barrel on it.
Well, it's actually a little bit lower than the barrel. The Yankee front office, the analytics department, did a study on Anthony Volpe. And every single ball, it seemed like he hit on the label. He didn't hit any on the barrel. So they had bats made up where they moved a lot of the wood into the label, so the harder part of the bat is going to actually strike the ball.
They look kind of crazy. Apparently, they hired a MIT physicist to invent these barrels where you most often make contact as a hitter, there's more wood and mass. And that the idea is to increase the number of barrels and decrease misses.
They're kind of weird looking. Not going to lie. They're definitely a little bit weird looking. I just read an article here. It says torpedo bats have already been ordered by one MLB team. Do you know what that team was?
Outside of the Yankees?
Yeah, one other team has already made an order for torpedo bats. You know who it was?
It should be the Mariners.
It was the Braves. It was not the Mariners. The Mariners don't need the torpedo bats. They're just fine on their
To
own.
me, I hear so much about how they're at a disadvantage because of this park and all of the issues the weather brings and all of that. You'd think they'd be trying anything.
If the torpedo bats help, the Mariners should be having torpedo bats. Junior Caminero used a torpedo bat this weekend. It worked for him.
Lyle's skeptical.
Why?
I just think it's a non-story. It was nearly 80...
So you don't. So now you're against math? I thought earlier you were like pro math and physics and all
I'm
that.
not saying that...
Now you're against it.
No, I'm not against it.
It seems like you
no,
are.
I don't think I am.
Huh?
I'm not saying they won't work. I just think if this had happened in July with the Yankees specifically using these bats and they had already established themselves as a top 5 offense, it's not really a story. It was 80 degrees in the Bronx this weekend, and I'm not sure the Brewers' rotation's all that good. I think the Yankees.
I mean, all those things can be true, and the bats make a difference, right? If it helps even a little bit, then everyone should be using these bats.
Well, they're also in a very hitter-friendly park, but these are numbers that you don't see all the time for them. Like, they had a pretty epic weekend. It was 36 runs and 15 home runs in 3 games.
Yeah, Lyle, don't be a hater on the Torpedoes.
I'm not a hater on the
Torpedoes. It seems like you are.
I just think the story was a little overblown. And, well, you know what got overblown? The fact people immediately thought the Yankees were cheating. I don't think they were.
Well, they probably were, but not because of the bats. And let's be clear, you now hate math, so I'm not taking any of your bunting takes or anything else seriously. You've walked yourself into this corner. All right, Maura, thank you for the trip around the weekend. We were one Julio home run away from a very tough conversation this morning. Brock will be in. We'll try to avoid that conversation next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2.
What might be different with Dan Wilson? The type of baseball that feels slightly more sustainable. Like when they won last year, this is what it looked like.
Yeah.
Maybe you score late, maybe your run production is in an inning, maybe 2. It's usually bombs, and then your pitching is elite enough to hold the other team to 2 or less.
Bombs won the game, but we know the philosophy of this team is kind of just put the ball in play and advance these runners.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, keep up. It's me, the radar gun at T-Mobile Park. And these Mariners pitchers have me working overtime. 3 all-star aces, Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, and George Kirby throwing absolute gas.
Holy smokes, what a performance. Strikeout number 10 on the night.
And don't forget about Bryce Miller and Brian Wu, the young guns. Those guys get me fired all the way up.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
And just when you think you've survived, here comes Andres Munoz dialing up triple digits and shutting the door. Oh boy, I'm giddy just thinking about it.
Back-to-back strikeouts, and the ball game is over.
Trust me, you're going to want to grab a seat and feel the speed for yourself. And there they go again. I got to make sure my batteries are charged. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
The Mariners have a stacked slate of promos on deck, including this week's Julio Bat Flip Bobble Giveaway, tonight through Wednesday, and a Cal Platinum Glove Bobble Giveaway April 7th to 9th. All 6 games are Mariners value games, which means you can score seats starting at just $10. Get your tickets today at mariners.com.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the 2nd largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Testing.
We are live from Chick-fil-A.
This is Grant.
And this is Laura.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich is that sweet bun.
And that chicken filet was perfectly crispy and soft at the same time.
And that Smokehouse Barbecue sauce, it's a lot of fun. And the brown sugar bacon definitely had a little bit more pizzazz. Also, the Mac, one of the all-time greats. Man, I'm getting hungry.
Order the Smokehouse Barbecue Bacon Sandwich and a Coca-Cola on the Chick-fil-A app for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the 2nd largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
With Progressive, it's easy to reach customer service with our app, website, chat, or by phone. Because when getting help is hard, it's not help at all.
Little help. A little help over here.
Thank you for calling Bench Press Assistance.
What?
Due to excessive gym volume, all available spotters are currently lifting heavy weights off the chests of other bench pressers.
Seriously?
Please continue to hold, and we will remove the barbell from your chest in the order in which your cry for help was received.
Getting assistance should be easy. With Progressive, it is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
I've always been a super athletic guy, but after I turned 40, I noticed I was slowing down. Instead of hitting the gym after work, I spent my evenings on the couch with a bag of chips.
I was gaining weight, losing muscle, and when I did try to work out, I ran out of energy right away. One of my buddies suggested I book a free testosterone check at Revive Health, and that's when I learned that low T doesn't just impact how guys perform in the bedroom. I worked with a provider to create my custom treatment plan, and today I'm feeling stronger than ever. Last week, I even set a new PR at the gym. My only regret is not reaching out sooner.
If you're ready to book your free T-check, visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com or call 206-529-1111. Again, that's 206-529-1111.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
A great lawn is like a great sports team. It takes expertise and a little extra care to really stand out. That's where True Green comes in. They're the official lawn care treatment provider of the PGA Tour, so they know a thing or two about keeping grass looking like a fairway. It's more affordable than you think, and they'll even match any competitor's price. Plus, True Green backs it all up with a satisfaction guarantee. Head to TrueGreen.com today. Let the pros do the work while you sit back and enjoy the results.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
This hour of the Brock and Salk Show is powered by Star Rentals, preferred supplier to the West's best contractors.
Get his freaking auto! From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
I don't read the internet, guys.
Take the bull by the hands.
And Brooke, you are. And Brooke, you are.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
It's a good point here, Lyle. The Mariners can't use the torpedo bats. They're not good for bunting.
Oh, good. Then don't use them.
They can't. They're not good for bunting. So you got to stick with the traditional bats.
Wait, no, sorry, I got that wrong. They do use them if they're not good for bunting.
No, they need to bunt. They can't possibly use these new bats.
They do.
Good morning, Brock. How
Good morning,
today?
Michael.
Love the Grizz sweatshirt. Perfect for our 8:30 guest, Ryan Divish, who will join us, talk some baseball. We'll also have your partner, Jason Benetti, with us at 9:30 because he's in town with the Detroit Tigers, so that should be fun.
Mm-hmm.
And we're starting draft profiles today at 8 o'clock. We got somebody good for today?
Well, remember, we build up to one.
Okay.
Yeah, we build up to one.
So
we're actually going to have.
So we don't have somebody good today?
Oh no, he's great. These are guys that I love. They're just not going to be the 18th pick of the draft.
Oh, okay. So this isn't like the very. We'll talk about it later, but I just keep seeing these mock drafts with the Seahawks taking a wide receiver at 18.
Mm-hmm.
My gosh, that's frustrating. Maybe not quite as frustrating as watching the Mariners score 8 runs in 4 games against the A's, but frustrating nonetheless. We were one Julio home run away from a very tough Monday morning conversation, right? Very tough.
From scoring 6 runs and 2 shutouts.
Yeah,
that'd have been a little rough.
And again, not against your own rotation, not against the Dodgers or the Braves or the Phillies. I mean, the A's have a pretty good lineup, but that rotation is not going to strike fear into the hearts of most. Scoring 8 runs in 4 games was not what you were hoping to do at all. So, a couple of thoughts about the Julio home run specifically, because to me, Brock, it pointed out 2 things at the same time that are somewhat opposed to each other. On one hand, it points out just how razor thin their margin is. It is razor thin. As we just said, 8 runs in 4 games. I'll do the little math for you here, and I'm going to trust myself on the difficult radio math. That's 2 runs per game. That's 2. That's horrible. Even in March, even in this ballpark, 2 runs a game is
4x equals
not
8, x equals 2.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah.
You want to check my math? Well, I'll get the calculator function out.
8 by the 4, x equals 2.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, you're right.
8 runs, 4 games, that's 2. 2 runs per game. It's not good. It's not going to get it done. So you can coach and run your way to some more runs eventually, but there's not going to be a ton of margin for error, which means you need Julio and Cal and Randy and Victor to hit. And through the first 4 games, those guys aren't hitting, right? I mean, I think they're hitting about 100. The Mariners are hitting like 170. I mean, like
175.
All right, there you go.
Easy.
That's not going to get it done. So that's one side of what it points out. The other side, and it's funny, and we mentioned it earlier on the show because we were talking about it on our text thread right before it happened. When Julio hits, the offensive problems go away. Mostly. I mean, it's still only 2 runs a game.
Yeah.
I mean, even with Julio yesterday, you only scored 2.
Yeah.
But he does have an eraser effect, right? Kind of like the Earl Thomas thing of like, well, guy might have made a mistake, but there was Earl, just to kind of erase whatever problem occurred. Julio can be an eraser where, yeah, even if no one else hits, when he carries a team like, he did yesterday, it does make up for a lot of the problems.
Yeah, I mean, he and Cal and Randy are your threats. Just as you kind of get the first opening weekend of baseball and you get to kind of look at everybody and watch a bunch of the other games and look at the torpedo bats and the highlights and all the other stuff, you realize, and even with this A's team, Salk, and man, they got some fun young guys. Like, I'm not going to lie, I'm a little jealous of their youth. But then you go back and you actually look at their roster and you know what you see? Number 4 pick in the draft, number 6 pick in the draft, number 8 pick in the draft, number 25 pick in the draft, number 26 pick in the, like, they're all first round picks. And the majority of them are all very, very, very young with a lot of upside. And, your pitching largely shut them down. And their biggest threat from a season ago, Mr. Rooker, could hardly put the ball in play at all. I mean, he really handled him.
Other than the home run.
But, I mean, it was, 9 strikeouts?
No,
or something?
Agreed. It's why I see this text from Denny who says, didn't seem like the juggernaut A's had any trouble hitting at T-Mobile. Yes, they did. They scored 14 runs in the 4 games. That's 3.5 per game. And a bunch of them came on home runs against the, low leverage relievers that are going to be off this team in a couple of weeks. The A's absolutely struggled to hit in T-Mobile Park this weekend. Both teams did.
Yeah.
Both teams had trouble hitting, and I think the A's have a better lineup than the Mariners do. Both teams had trouble hitting at T-Mobile Park this weekend. There's no doubt about that. But the A's aren't really our concern. The Mariners are our concern. And watching them continue, with a lineup that was largely the same as what it was last year. I think that's why, again, am I panicked because they went 2-2 to start the year? No, of course not. That's dumb. Nobody should be. But if you're watching and seeing a lot of what you saw, last year and the year before that, I can't tell you that there's any reason not to be concerned because of course there is.
I think
this is sort of the expectation for this lineup.
I think football and basketball much more than baseball use the slogan, but I think it comes into play a little bit with these Mariners. Is it the X's and the O's or the Jimmies and the Joes? And I think there was a thought last year that we can change some of the X's and the O's. We can bring Brent Brown in. We could change some of this philosophy. We could tighten the screws on some of the numbers and some of the analysis of when to swing and where to swing and what to swing at and kind of change some of the schematics, even calling him an offensive coordinator. And then a wholesale shift after that doesn't work for the first 2 months of the season. And then you kind of bring Edgar back, and Edgar would be your probably Pete Carroll comp. Right now, we're going to run the ball, play defense, keep it simple. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to find a way to get the game, late, and we're going to, win because of our pitching, our defense, everything else. But we're going to, just use the whole field. It's not like Edgar's philosophies are ultra complicated, Salk. Now, maybe some of the levers that Dan tries to pull, to bunt, to steal, to be aggressive, to give the players the freedom to express themselves. And if, Jorge wants to bunt after being 2 for 2 on the opening night, it feels like there's an avenue to do so. You got to empower the player a little bit.
It's funny. I see this one a little bit differently, and I appreciate your Seahawks comp, but I would make a different one. And I don't think you'll like it as much, but I think it's more accurate.
Okay.
The Mariners deciding that it was be about the X's and the O's rather than the Jimmies and the Joes is much more akin to the Seahawks making a decision this offseason that their offensive scheme is going to fix their offensive line. And Robert Mays was on the station last week saying exactly that.
The biggest bet you're making this offseason, in my opinion, outside of the one that you're making on Sam Darnold, based on all the other moves that the Seahawks have made, is that you think that the schematic change on offense is going to get you different results from your offensive line.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you're betting that a different approach with Edgar Martinez and Kevin Seitzer, et cetera, is going to get you a different result than what you had last year with Jarrett DeHart and before that with Brant Brown.
Yep.
That's the bet.
Yep, I think that's
because
fair.
the lineup's basically the same.
Yep.
So that's the bet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, to me, that's always been a tough bet to make because I just am. Heck, I believe the Seahawks bet makes more sense than that one. I don't really agree with the Seahawks bet either, but at least in football, I think coaching it comes from within the team, and you can cover for things with scheme and play calling. This is baseball. You're not going to cover major league hitters with coaching. You can help them, but these guys all have their own coach anyway. So I've never fully bought into this. In fact, I've never really bought into it at all, which is why, if I sound more negative after 4 games than normal, that's why. Unfortunately, it 100% kind of fit with a lot of how I thought this season had a chance to go. Now, all of that being said, Cal hasn't hit yet. Cal's going to hit. Right? I mean, Cal's going to hit home runs. Of course he is. He's hit 30 each of the last couple of years. Yep. Right? I mean, like, you're going to see things that are going to make it different than what you saw this weekend. I don't think that there's any reason to push a panic button or assume the season's over. But, yeah, my patience is going to be a lot thinner for their offense because I just don't think that the approach changes were going to be enough to fix the offense.
And, oh, by the way, they're going to pitch. Right? I mean, that's kind of the other side of this thing. They're going to give you a chance every single game to get the offense going, to score enough runs. What was that number that Manny said to us last week? That when they scored 4 or more runs, they were 43-7 at home. 4 or more runs. They didn't, they do that one time this weekend? They did that one time this week. They 1-0 on that stretch of it, but that's it because your defense, your pitching is going to give you that kind of opportunity.
Let's not get too carried away with your defense
pitching,
yet either.
Your pitching is going to give you that kind of
on the defensive side of the infield.
Pitching is going to give you that kind
Usually when you have those bets that give you defensive problems, especially in the infield, they come because you're getting major pop on offense. I didn't really see that either. All right, let's come back with everything you need to know. You want to hear Julio's home run? It was pretty fun. It was the most fun thing that happened. It's next on Brock and Salk.
For Down Territory, going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
The NFL's trying to clean up the game. What do they want to emphasize, and how do you feel about it?
The NFL wants to bring in more sportsmanship. And I understand they're saying, look, we want kids watching the game to learn from these guys. And listen, it is a good idea. But the ball player in me says, man, forget all that noise. This is football.
For Down Territory, every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
When you're in the thick of a project, Harbor Freight is the place that always comes in handy. Whether you're picking up something for your pickup truck or a power tool for your project, at Harbor Freight, your dollar always goes further. And these days, when everything seems to cost more, you can take pride in knowing that you get hard-working tools at hard-working prices. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be-in-the-room-with-real people kind of learner, so he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto. Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
The smart way to improve home comfort is a new heat pump. New heat pumps from Home Comfort Alliance provide efficient heating and cooling in one unit. Upgrade today and enjoy 18 months, same as cash financing, and up to 15% off through March. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Pizza Hut's fan favorite Cheesy Bites pizza is back. For just $15.99, get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable cheese-filled bites. Plus the new Ranch Lovers Flight with ultimate chipotle and pepperoni ranch dips. Order now at pizzahut.com.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Bob Stelton here for Asset Roofing, and they have got the perfect slogan. You're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset, and I witnessed this firsthand when I met Anthony, the owner, and again when I had him do work on my roof. Now this spring, replace your aging roof with Asset Roofing because you're either hiring a liability or you're hiring an asset. Check them out at AssetRoofingCo.com. That's AssetRoofingCo.com.
Certified work that's never in doubt. Asset Roofing, excellence is on the house.
Washington State ranks number 5 in the country for auto theft. The most high-risk vehicles are Kia, Hyundai, Ford F-150, F-250, and F-350. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Share this information with friends and family. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
The Lee Johnson culture to me is empowering all of your employees to do the right thing because it's the right thing to do. You know, there are certain things that it doesn't matter what level of employment you are in our organization. If it's not the right thing or it doesn't feel right, they have the ability to take care of the customer and make the decision without asking a manager, without asking an owner. The end result is they can speak to the customer with more confidence. They're definitely more confident in what they're trying to provide the customer, what the customer is trying to accomplish, and just giving them a better experience.
His name is Justin Meek. He's the leader and caretaker of more than 300 full-time employees for the Lee Johnson Auto family. It's the united understanding among Lee Johnson employees that customers are the purpose of our day. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
Yeah, easy to get caught up in the frustration this weekend because there was a lot of offensive frustration. It could have been a lot better. It also could have been worse. I mean, they could have very easily been swept this weekend. They were outscored 14-8, but they did manage to come away with a series split at home against the A's. And for all the talk about how one game here or there could make a difference, yeah, what Julio did yesterday could end up making a difference. After the 2 home runs helped them win in the 8th on Thursday, it was Julio doing it yesterday.
Here's the pitch to Julio. There goes Robles. Swung on and destroyed. Lift off here. Upper deck on its way. Goodbye. Nearly to the top of the upper deck. That was absolutely destroyed. Julio, a monster 2-run home run, and the Mariners lead 2-1. A no-doubt moonshot by Julio.
Dang, G. Hill. Woo! Gary, opening series, bringing it. What a great call, Gary. I love that. And what was it, about 5 rows from leaving the building?
It was pretty close.
Bro, that thing was...
That was a missile.
If that was the home run derby in T-Mobile like a couple years ago, I mean, that one was, honestly, I think the gentleman up there kind of reached for it in about the 4th or 5th row from the very, very top of the building.
Yeah, first of the year for Julio, earliest he's ever hit a home run in a season. Dan Wilson did say it fit with the approach.
We talk about it a lot. Staying in the middle of the field, you'll get your fastball and you'll be able to hit that up the middle or the other way. And then the breaking ball that's out front, you'll catch out early and hit that ball a long way to the pull side. And that's what Julio did. Just a great at-bat.
He did hit it to the pull side by a lot. Just creamed that ball. Next up, Emerson Hancock tonight, Brock. He'll get his first start of the season against the Tigers. Detroit, tough start. They went to L.A. and got swept by the Dodgers. And I don't know how indicative that is of what their season's going to be like, given what the Dodgers look like. But, yeah, Texas started 3-1. They may have lost Josh Young. Angels and Astros both 2-1 after the first series of the year.
Yeah, I don't think these A's guys like the Mariners rotation. I think if we were on the other side of the aisle, we can certainly have our complaints about the offense and the struggles and 8 runs in 4 games. That's all very, very real. But if you're an A's fan, wherever you are, as displaced as you may be in the Bay Area, Sacramento, Vegas, wherever you are, I think you're like, I hate Logan Gilbert. I hate Wu. I hate Miller. I can't, and especially Wu. Like, Wu just loves facing them, and they just have a real hard time seeing his stuff.
Yeah, well, and they're not alone. Here's what Dan said about Brian's performance yesterday.
They're 2 really good fastballs, and we've seen the effectiveness of both. And, you know, when you mix in the breaking stuff along with that, you get guys way out front, and you get, you know, them thinking a little bit differently. But he can overpower people, and that's, you know, what he's been able to do, you know, for his time in the big leagues, and he's got 2 really good fastballs,
especially against the A's, who he has just eaten up in his career.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
They're working on it, Brock. That's what Pete said today when he was asked about the Geno Smith contract and where it's at. They're just working on it.
Oh, okay.
Been 3.5 weeks.
So disappointed in you.
3.5 weeks.
So I honestly, last night in our text exchange, I was like as disappointed. I was in the bath. Yeah, that was tub time. Texting, by the way. So I had a 7-on-7 tournament all day. Cold. Whew, it was cold. So I had to heat up for a while in the tub, and I'm like, let me check in with the crew. Sent that picture over of the owners at the owners meeting. Of
all 32 coaches?
All the coaches sitting there. Pete in between the Harbaugh brothers, his pals.
Yep.
McDonald wearing some oversized white T-shirt. Terrible look for him. Terrible. And I said, how many can you name? What did you?
I think I got like 11.
11?
They all look the same.
Salk!
They all look the same.
Salk, 11?
Yeah.
You're better than that.
You know what Kevin Stefanski looks like?
Yes, he's got a beard. He's gray. He's speckled. He's got a Clooney.
I don't know
George
what Kevin Stefanski
look
looks
to
like.
Him.
It took me 5 minutes to remember
Kyle
he's even
Shanahan
in the
looks
league.
miserable. McVay, Andy Reid looks a little different than Liam Cohen.
I recognized Andy Reid. I don't know who Liam Cohen is. How would I possibly recognize him?
Duval.
Yeah, you didn't see that viral. He tried to say Duval.
I mean, I heard it, but I don't remember what he looks like. That's information I don't want in my brain. I don't want to know it.
If
What's
you'd
his
seen
name?
him, I think you'd know what he looked like. He stands out. He's a little
Duval.
Yeah, I don't even. What's his name again? Liam Cohen?
Yeah.
Liam Cohen, one of yours.
I don't think he is.
You sure?
No, I'm not.
Laura, how many could you name?
I think I was only missing 3 or 4.
Lyle?
Yeah, I think I said I got 29.
Yeah. Good.
I'll go through it for real later. I took a cursory look. This may end up worse for me. Plus, I forgot my glasses today, so I won't be able to see much of anything.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
All number 1 seeds in the Final Four. Kraken mathematically eliminated this weekend, Brock. 5-1, they lose to Dallas. They scored the first goal of the game. Then they gave up 5 straight. And they are right now the 5th worst record in the league. 5th worst record in the league with 8 games to play. So they could get as low as 3rd, but they could also go the other way and be somewhere in the 8 or 9 range. So we'll see. They got Dallas again tonight. Remember, it's a draft lottery in the NHL, so even if you end up with the third worst record, doesn't guarantee you anything.
4 number ones on the men's side, a chance to get 4 number ones on the women's side. 2 more tonight. So UConn, USC tonight, Texas, TCU tonight. And TCU, a lot of local flavor. Haley Van Lith and good friend of the family, Donovan Hunter, both starters for TCU. Never been to the Elite Eight, certainly never even touched the Final Four. So cool storylines to watch tonight, too.
All right, that is everything you need to know. Unsurprisingly, there's some text frustration today, including some at me. So, Salk, you're so wishy-washy. You acted like the philosophy of why they didn't pick up bats and giving guys a chance to turn it around was really going to be a difference. Come on, Salk, be one way. Would you say that's what I've been? Is that how you've heard it?
No,
I think you've talked about that's what the Mariners believe. I don't think you've ever said that's what you believe.
I don't believe that. Never have. They believe it. I said in order to believe that the Mariners had a good offseason, you got to believe that.
That the last month of the season was predictive of what the start of the season is going to be.
They bet on that. I wouldn't have made that bet. Is it possible it works? Of course it is. Of course it could work. But is it the bet I would have made if I were running the team? No, that is probably not the bet I would have made. I think that they are running a pretty risky strategy. That's just me. I'll tell you what. Did we learn anything this weekend?
I learned a lot.
Did you?
A lot.
All right. Well, we're going to come back. We learned some stuff this weekend, and we'll try to piece through it together next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob. Weekdays 2 to 7.
Cooper Kupp is with us. Welcome to Seattle, man. I heard in the press conference, you were looking at like the pictures around here going, man, I remember where I was as a little kid when that happened.
It's a special thing. I was talking about, the experiences, the memories. My wife grew up in Washington. I obviously grew up here. This whole full circle moment of being able to come back here and be a part of things in Washington State, so it's a really cool thing.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of rain here over the weekend. Certainly last night it was pouring out. And this time of year, all that rain can wreak havoc on your crawl space because that water's got to go somewhere. So if rain or groundwater makes its way into your crawl space, now you got problems, right? You could have structural damage, toxic mold. It's why Crawl Pros can keep your crawl space dry by installing a sump pump and drainage and try to reroute that water back out and away from your home. And they'll take care of any mold that may have been created along the way. Look, in our region, it's pretty common for homes to have damaged insulation or even none at all in the crawl space and attic. So make sure you get this right. Call Crawl Pros. If you're worried about water damage, mold, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or go to crawlpros.com.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found at G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just the bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them in the refrigerated section at Costco.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to vaxassist.com and schedule today. That's vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Switch to Consumer Cellular to get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Plans start at just $20 a month, and now for a limited time, new customers can get their second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit a store near you, or consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes, fees, and other third-party charges will apply. See website for additional details.
March is here, and Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have teamed up to take away your car buying madness. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, they have the widest selection of new and certified used inventory and the largest savings in the region. Now that's a slam dunk. The all-star staff at Toyota of Renton and Kirkland will assist you with a test drive, and you can score that car the very same day. Come see for yourself or visit online at toyotaofrenton.com or toyotaofkirkland.com.
O'Brien.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Washington State has the third highest cost of living in the nation. If Olympia politicians raise taxes again, the cost of everything from groceries and gas to housing will go up even more. They've already doubled spending over 10 years, with little to show for it. Washington State needs lower costs, not higher taxes. Demand smarter state spending now at affordablewashington.org. Paid for by people for an affordable Washington and Olympia, Washington. Top 5 donors are Washington Alliance for Competitive Economy, Microsoft, Madrona, T-Mobile, and Alaska Air.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
No matter how old you get, you always remember that one great teacher. Hi, this is Rick Riz, inviting you to join WSECU in celebrating Teacher of the Week. Great teachers inspire. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. This year, we're going to honor 24 great teachers with grants of $500, courtesy of WSECU, the credit union for Washington. Teachers are the real MVPs. Nominate an exceptional teacher now at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
All right, what did we learn this weekend, Brock? What did we learn? Let me start by saying not a ton. We're only 4 games into the season, and I don't know how much, as we've talked about before, you can really use 4 games to build too much information about anything. But given that this team is essentially last year's team with very few changes, I do think maybe we could draw a few more conclusions than we normally might after just a weekend full of games. So, with the obvious caveat that 4 games doesn't mean a ton, let's ask some questions and see kind of where we're at with it. And we'll start with this one. Is the offense different? Is the offense any different?
No, I have a hard time. I don't want to parse this out because the aggression in the base stealing and all of that is part of the offense, right? You're not separating like the batter's box from the bases. So that is all part of the offense. So I think some of the mindset, some of the freedom you're trying to give guys to bunt, better or worse, didn't see an immense amount of that. Certainly after the opening night with Jorge, there was a little conversation, I think, with Dan. But I think from the wanting to be aggressive, and I think Scott, by and large, and that staff wanted guys to steal. I think there were green light guys that gave them the freedom to the Robles and the Julio and those guys to steal. So I can't say, and certainly if you're just talking about process versus results, process didn't feel too dissimilar, and the results, unfortunately, were not dissimilar.
Yeah, I think I'll mince even fewer words. No. The offense was not appreciably different. They had 5 hits in each game. They're hitting 175 as a team against a decent but not great pitching staff. In the 4 games, they struck out 7, 13, 12, and 9 times. That's 41 times in 4 games. So they're already striking out more than 10 times per game. And when they won because they took walks and hit home runs. They lost when they didn't. Pretty much that simple. It's the same thing I've been saying for a long time. You can bunt and steal and all that stuff, and I think it'll help. I mean, like, I'm not, like, mad at them for them doing it, but at the end of the day, in modern baseball, you win when you take walks and hit home runs.
Yep.
And, yeah, you can strike out all you want. As long as you take walks and hit home runs, you'll find ways to win.
Yeah, and I think you got to add maybe the caveat as well.
Hit with runners in scoring position? Yeah, they didn't do that either.
No, Saturday night, the stinger of that at 1 for 10 with a guy that was so wildly erratic. And I will say this, if any of the Mariners, you're the most unlucky of the weekend was Randy. Randy hit a bomb yesterday that was, Daniel Kramer tweeted out.
28 feet?
Yeah. I mean, he hit it to the fence, and it was affected by 28 feet of wind against. So, that's going to be a 2-run homer for him.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday night in the opening inning, to get the bases loaded, you draw a walk, you get hit by a pitch, you got a hit, you get the bases loaded, nobody out. And Randy hits just a screaming, missile that the other Max Muncy just catches on the back end of his glove there right into center field.
Yeah, they had some bad luck, especially he did. But,
that's baseball.
At the end of 4 games, that's all we have to judge right now. And, again, doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. 41 strikeouts, and you win when you hit your home runs, you lose when you don't. I mean, that seems a lot like what I've seen for quite some time.
And that's the guy yesterday that was way below league average in strikeouts per 9, who spun 9 strikeouts on you.
I know.
That was not Skubal, who's coming in this week. That was not some of the frontline guys. And even, in the opener, a frontline guy, you did draw 5 walks, and that certainly helped and got him out of the game. But that was not one of the better rotations you're going to see over the course of the season either.
Is the defense a problem? I don't know why you need a sigh. Yes, the defense is a problem, especially in the infield. Yeah. Polanco's not really a third baseman.
Was his arm...
He's not a third baseman. He's not a third baseman.
But his arm isn't that. It's not like Urias from a year ago with the bum shoulder that we watched.
He hit a bomb this weekend, by the way.
I mean, that throw on opening night that, 2-hopped over. I was like, okay, maybe just... And then the throw the other,
the defense can be a problem in the infield.
Wow, are you trying to tell me that's how Perry teaches it, to throw 4 hops over to first?
Stop.
Did you? Well, he tried to tell me that during the break.
You can ask Divish about that in an hour, because that is exactly what he's talked about when he's talked to the team.
1 hop, but not 2 hops.
Okay, so the execution
Nobody teaches 2 hops.
The execution of it was not great. Yes, correct.
Right.
I understand that you can teach 1 hop, and sometimes you can get the little skip, too. It'll go even... That's all. But 2 hops?
Okay, yes. Again, the execution
How
of it
about
was
8
not
hops?
great.
How about
also,
3? I think it was a 3-hopper.
Also, Dylan Moore should be picking that ball at first base. That's the other side of this. The throw wasn't great, but Demo's got to pick that ball.
Noted first baseman Dylan Moore, right? I mean, this is what happens when you've got 5 different guys playing. You know what would have been better? Rather than Dylan Moore trying to pick a ball from Jorge Polanco throwing from third to first, if Dylan Moore was throwing the ball from third and Jorge Polanco was picking it at first.
He's never played a game at first base.
First base is easy. Jorge Polanco can play first. You know you don't have to do too much there? Throw across the diamond.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
When
you've got 4 guys or 3-4 guys playing out of position in the infield, these things are going to happen. Yes, the defense is a problem.
Bliss was pretty good. Bliss was vacuum with everything that came his way.
But literally, we know Ryan Bliss isn't a very good second baseman defensively.
He's a young guy. I don't think everybody's written that into stone.
Yeah, I don't think he has a great arm.
We have seen guys develop here, Salk.
I'm not saying he can't develop, but I think that...
I think Bliss's glove is. I think Bliss's glove is solid. I just don't think he has a strong arm.
That's definitely not the report on him. The report is that he struggles with a lot of the easy ones. You can make a lot of errors at second base.
Yep.
He didn't make one in 4 games. That's great.
Yep.
But again, I feel like you got a lot of guys playing out of position, and to me, that's why your defense may be a problem. By the way, if you are on Ben Williamson watch, as I am, because I would like to see him up sooner rather than later, he's got to hit in AAA to get it done. In his first 3 games, he is 3 for 11 with 3 strikeouts and a stolen base. I mean, not overwhelmed.
And 2 Gold Glove plays.
The one he made yesterday was ridiculous. I didn't see the other one.
The other one was kind of like spring training where he charged and just quickly had to get it in and out of his hand and in an absolute hurry and throw a missile to first base.
How many hops was it?
It was no hops.
It was no hops.
No.
Okay, so he did no hops. No. Okay, just so
I'll tell you,
check
he
the
did
number of hops.
Such an unbelievable fast burpee on that play behind third.
Yeah.
where he gets to his feet and throws an absolute rocket shot. Yeah.
He's just a natural defender over there. So, again, if you're watching and waiting to see whether or not he can hit it all, 3 for 11 so far with 3 strikeouts and a stolen base. We'll see what that looks like over the course of the first few weeks. And if it continues at, that pace, he's probably going to be up here sooner rather than later. And you can move Polanco to second base or first, where I think he probably belongs at this stage in his career. How's the pen?
Can I get back to the offense just real quickly? Just add one. No, I want to add one other little note because I think this is important, and this doesn't come DM'd from Luke Arkins. Maybe it did last year as we talked about this. You hit 3 home runs in 4 games, right? Obviously, 2 of them are game winners. I mean, you had to have Polanco and you had to have Julio yesterday in late innings to get it done. Do you know how many doubles you hit in 4 games?
None.
One.
You
had 1 double in 4 games.
How many did the A's hit?
I don't know that.
I mean, again, one thing about this park is it really suppresses doubles.
Different. I mean, we got Logan.
I know that, but
and
some of that to me is this park is going to really suppress doubles.
That 1 double, by the way, was about 4 inches from being a home run. It was Victor Robles' double off the wall.
And I know one of the doubles the A's had really was a single that Randy played into a double. Right, that was when he was doing his push-ups afterwards, right? Because I think he played a single into a double. So this part does suppress doubles. That is part of it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like those things are.
But if you're going to, kind of play gap to gap and be up the middle and stuff, you'd hope to see some of those kind of one hop the walls or hitting the alleys and just that continues to be and was such a bugaboo a season ago as well.
How's the pen?
Mooney was awesome.
Yep.
Mooney was awesome, and. Yep, Thornton scared the heck out of me with a walk to start the 8th inning. Those usually come back and bite you, but he was able to scramble out of that thing with no margin for error and get out of it. Obviously gave up the home run on the opening night, but I think he's got some decent stuff. The bottom of that bullpen, as you saw, what was that, Friday? Problematic.
Yeah, I'll go with some good news here. Maybe the single best sign I saw over 4 games was that Santos looked good.
Mm-hmm.
Gregory Santos looked really good. I mean, he nearly killed somebody with 101. No idea where it was going. Almost hit him straight in the head.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, maybe effectively wild in that case. I thought Aaron did a really good job of pointing out yesterday that even though he's throwing 100+ and he's built he's just gigantic out there, he's really more of a ground ball pitcher than he is just a strikeout pitcher. And you saw that yesterday, right? He's now got 2 outings. He hasn't walked the building around. And yesterday, 3 straight ground balls.
Mm-hmm.
Soft ground balls, too. I mean, they weren't there was no mystery about them. They were easily vacuumed up and thrown to first, even by this infield. So I got to say, if I'm looking for the biggest positive I saw this weekend, it was definitely Gregory Santos maybe becoming, less of an idea and more of a leverage guy, because I saw a leverage reliever yesterday. Great news.
Yep.
Vargas, Saucedo. A little more question marks.
Spire?
Yeah.
I thought Gabe looked pretty good. Gabe Spire looked pretty good in his 1 outing.
I guess I didn't see Gabe. I'm sorry. I did not get a chance to see Gabe. So he looked good? Good.
I thought he did. I mean, it was a short outing, but he got a strikeout. He got a ground out.
Yeah. I turned on the game. I watched Saucedo give up a moonshot to Luis Urias, and I was like, yeah, okay.
That was Vargas that gave that up.
Oh, sorry. Vargas gave one up to Urias. Saucedo gave up a shot to somebody else. It was just like... I'm sorry. Now both those guys are going to be gone in a couple of weeks when you get Troy Taylor and you get Matt Brash back, and Bizzardo kind of is what he is. So, how's the coaching and how has the management been? What do we see with Dan and sort of the way that trickles out to the team?
I kind of like the push-ups. I kind of liked some of the edge. I kind of like some of the emotion from both Thursday night and certainly with Julio's home run yesterday. And you kind of get the feel and the sense that these guys are. They want to do this. You saw some of the emotion, right? And you could look at that either way. You could say, man, Randy was frustrated. JP was frustrated, hit a couple balls, and they get no kind of, result from it. Or you could flip it around and go, no, I like that. That's 162 battles. And every single at-bat and every single game and every single moment is going to be an important deal here. And finding a way to split that series and Julio coming through makes you feel a little bit better on a Monday. With
I mean, overall, I think what you would say is if you lose the, aggregate, but win or tie the series, you've probably managed pretty well.
Yeah, -6 in run differential.
Right? I mean, you get outscored 14-8, but you tie the series 2-2. Generally, that's a positive for the manager. And using, Vargas and Saucedo and Bizzardo in a game, get blown out 7-0. Okay, fine, whatever. Like, that happens.
Yep.
But come back and find a way to win the close ones, and they did win 2 of the 3 closer games. Generally, that's a pretty good sign that your manager's doing his job. I didn't really see a lot of mental mistakes. They did have a guy thrown out at the plate. Not really a mental mistake, right? Yeah. You did have a situation where he kind of managed into Luke Raley against the lefty on Friday in a big spot. I don't know that I would have wanted that to go that way. Maybe that was Saturday, but I wouldn't have wanted that to go that way. But overall, I don't know. I got no real problems with the way the games were managed. Yep. And as long as the mental mistakes are limited, then I'll say they're concentrating, and he's kind of doing his job in that regard.
Yeah, got to be just, they know this infinitely more than any of us know it. Like, there's still a lot of times where you just got to be on that fastball. Mm-hmm. And Dan saying it, about Julio's home run, that, the approach was right, that we're going to be on the fastball, and then the soft stuff, you can hit 440 feet, and got guys that can do that. But felt like there was a bunch of 93 fastball, and again, you can just hear the guys, and you can hear Ryan, or you can hear Aaron, or you can hear Gary, or you can hear Rizzer say, 93, they're down the middle. Like that's the one you got to have. If you get 1 or 2 in a bat, as Julio said, or 1.5 in a bat, you got to make those pay. And there were just ample opportunities, I think, to do more of that.
This is Brock and Salk's Blue 88.
Blue 88! Blue 88!
We take you to the field as Brock Ewart breaks down 3 football questions as only he can.
Now here's your hosts, Brock Ewart and Mike Salk.
I like when you send questions like this one, Brock. As you were looking at numbers this weekend, you had a little surprise.
Mm-hmm. I did.
What
was
it?
Actually, I think it was mid last week or so, and kind of been hanging on to it and didn't get to it. This is just about as simple as it gets. Win total. As these owners meetings are going on, all the coaches gather, and you get to see kind of all the faces and kind of get a look at everybody. And the win totals, according to Vegas, in the NFC West.
Okay.
Number 1, still San Francisco. I thought I was looking at 2024's numbers, but nope, 2025. Still San Francisco.
Okay.
Still McCaffrey, still Purdy to come, still Trent Williams, still their monster middle linebacker, 10.5. 10.5 for San Francisco. Next, the Los Angeles Rams. Swept you last year. That's why they won that division. 9.5.
Okay.
Next, in a tie.
Cardinals.
In a tie. Your Arizona Cardinals and Seattle Seahawks at 8.5.
Wow.
10.5, 9.5, 8.5. I think a little high on San Francisco, frankly. I think there's been a whole bunch of reset. Now, reset doesn't mean bad. A couple years ago, fire Pete Carroll, right? Move on from him. Moved on from Russell. Going to be a reset. No, it's not. Going to be a playoff team. You're going to give these young draft picks that John Lynch is, the picks that he's had and he didn't trade, he's been able to use for some young players to get their opportunities. 10.5 San Francisco, 9.5, 8.5, 8.5. Feels too high for Arizona. Feels a little high to me for San Francisco, and maybe a little low still for the Rams.
All right,
to be honest.
Question number 2. So you had UFL this weekend, huh?
Did I ever?
That wasn't on in Canada.
They don't get Fox up in Canada?
I don't know.
The 51st state doesn't get Fox?
Please stop that. I would say that I saw a lot of hockey. A little bit of curling.
How many?
Even some
teams?
Aussie rules football.
How many teams did you say were up at this tournament?
There, I believe, were 175 girls hockey teams at this tournament.
Goodness.
Largest girls hockey tournament in the continent.
You know what you cannot ever do? Have 175 boys teams, because the level of stink at the hotels and in those arenas would be so bad.
I don't think that the girls smell a whole lot better than the boys do, buddy. I don't know. So I found out, you're not allowed to bring your gear, the hockey gear, to the room?
Yeah, because you'll ruin them.
Yeah, they have equipment rooms.
It'll be like
set
peeing
up
in a sauna, like the Aberdeen boys did at the summer tournament in high school.
They have rooms set up specifically for all the disgusting hockey gear.
Yes.
Unbelievable. Anyway, while I was up there, you were in Houston, so you got to talk to Tom Cable.
I ran into an old friend, Tom Cable.
He must have been excited about the Yankees torpedo bats.
Yeah, I love that. Tommy Cable. By the way, looked great. Like as healthy as I've seen him look, probably down, I don't know, 20, 30, 40. Like, he looked great, fit.
Of course, you noticed
happy.
that.
He's trying to, well, you know, we all get older, and especially those guys that are beat up and have orthopedic challenges as you get older, and the wear and tear of the game that they played and have coached for all these years. So just kind of great bounce to him. He's trying to help his buddy from Idaho, Curtis Johnson, Mike Price. It's not going great because Houston was 1-9 last year and looked like the worst team in the league this year too. But I chatted with him, and I said, "Oh man, I'm so happy for Pete, Coach Carroll," and he said likewise. And actually, Tom lives outside of Vegas, and super excited for Pete. And then we said, well, naturally, we turned to the Seahawks offensive line. And he said, I will be, and I say same thing. I said, I'll be very curious what Johnny does this year. Because I think there was a sense, and maybe this is him, right? This is his opinion. You know, I think there was a sense always that, hey, man, Tom Cable can make, you know, chicken salad. He can make a lemonade. He can take whatever there is. He can take defensive linemen and turn them into offensive linemen. And the feeling that I got was that was a little bit more of a Seahawk mantra, a personnel mantra, than it was a Tom Cable mantra.
Okay.
That Tom would have loved to have had a first-round guard.
Really?
Yeah, first-round center. And he didn't say that explicitly, but that was kind of my speculation and my sense. And I think he and I are both very curious in this draft where there are first-round graded offensive guards. Maybe they weren't, honestly, maybe there weren't 10 years ago, Salk. Right, as we have seen the need and the premium of that position in the development and tackles in college, moving into guard, knowing I can get drafted in the first round. So he and I both, 26 days from now, will be very curious if the personnel department and Mr. John has the kind of tool and asset there in the first round to take right in the middle of the offensive
question
line.
number 3. Draft profiles are going to start here in about 10 minutes. We'll have the number 15 Seahawks draft profile leading up to the draft.
One of my favorites.
I know, you love
One of
this.
my favorites.
Who was number 16?
Right on the outside.
Who didn't make it?
I put this list together pre-tub time.
Okay.
Pre-tub, because I can't do this during tub time.
No?
Look, I got my legal notepad. I can't take that in the tub.
Why not?
What?
I don't know.
Get wet, got bubbles all over. Can't do that. So, you know, I in tub time started to put a little stuff, but then I make my whole official list. Number 16, just outside, is Benedict Arnold.
Benedict Arnold?
Jabbar Muhammad. Leaving the University of Washington to go to Oregon.
No.
Yes. Yeah, he left UW to go to Oregon.
Not that.
Yeah, he did, Mike. But that wasn't it. He played, you remember, 60 games. 60 games of college football over 5 years. 55 starts in his career. Started Oklahoma State, went to University of Washington, ended at Oregon. I don't hate him. That's today's college football, and that was tongue-in-cheek when it came to Benedict Arnold. But I was amused when Maura sent her email last night, and she had our friend from The Athletic who did a 7-round draft.
Michael Shawn?
And his last 2 players happened to be my number 16 and 15.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Before I even looked at that email,
Maybe he was in
last
tub
night.
time with you or something.
No, he was not, and he was not plugged into my stuff either. Jabbar Muhammad will be a late-round pick. He's little. He's 5'9". He's 182 pounds. And the toughest thing going for him is he's got really short arms.
Okay.
So if you're that size, you hope to be like Russell Wilson and have really long arms, something to offset it. He doesn't. They're 28 inches. And you think, well, does that matter? Yes, because every inch matters in the NFL when you're defending those guys in contested situations. But you know what I love? This guy is a ball hawk. You saw it at Washington. You saw it at Oregon. You even saw it as a young, scrappy freshman, redshirt freshman playing down there in Stillwater. 5 years this dude has played. This guy has got a heart that is enormous. And you know what? Good for him. He ran 4.47 at Oregon's Pro Day.
Like Secretariat?
Like Secretariat. He's got an enlarged want to and heart and just a try-hard factor. And just honestly, a chip and an edge. Like you always say, I'm too small. I never, ever got picked. I was never a 4-star. I was never a first 3-round guy. I was never. And how many times do we see corners like that, Salk, in the 4th, 5th, 6th round?
For sure.
Make a career out of it in the NFL. Could he play nickel inside? Yeah, his change of direction is elite 4.1. Change of direction, 5'10", 5. Could that put Devin Witherspoon outside a little bit more than having to play inside? Is he physical? Does he got that want to? Does he have those ball skills? Yeah. Over 40 pass breakups in his college career. 6th, 7th round, Jabbar Muhammad sitting out there. I would not mind seeing him at Seattle Seahawks.
All right, that is today's Blue 88.
Get the juices flowing.
Man, you are ready for this.
Flowing.
You are ready for this.
Let's get these draft packs flowing. Let's go. 26 days. We got the draft. Come on.
I'm reading through some of the texts. I can't read a bunch of these.
No. Are they explicit?
Yeah, I don't know. I just gotta let them go. We're gonna let it go. A lot of bath comments and whatnot. Yeah, we're gonna just let all that go.
Okay.
All right. Ryan Divish is gonna join us at 8:30. Jason Benetti is gonna join us at 9:30. And before we get to any
That was
of
a teaser. That was just a teaser, ladies and gentlemen.
Brock,
that was a
if
teaser.
if you liked Benedict Arnold and that
Jabbar
breakdown,
Muhammad.
wait till you hear number 15. It's the first of 15 draft profiles coming every day at 8 o'clock from now until the draft, and it's next on Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob. Weekdays 2 to 7.
The Mariners making a move to lock up part of their core in Cal Raleigh. This is somebody you drafted, you developed, one of the great catchers in the game. You keep that guy around. He's a leader in the clubhouse. He's everything you'd want in a player. He's everything you'd hope when you draft a young player that they're going to turn into something close to this. And you got it.
Cal could probably get a lot more money on the open market, but he wants to stay here. I think Mariner fans are going to love him forever.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
To me, the LJ way is to provide an experience that people really enjoy being a part of. And they enjoy being a part of it because they're getting great service. They're talking with somebody that actually they feel cares about them. They care about what their impression is going to be walking away. It's also understanding you're now part of our family, and thank you for doing the business with us. And this is how we're going to show our appreciation through customer service. We're going to show our appreciation with taking care of you if you ever have an issue. The majority of the people that are coming to see us are within our community. These are people who are providing maybe services that we also use in our community. So the LJ way, to me, somebody can come into a retail setting and not feel like they got to have their guard up. And that's been a long-standing thing in the car business that, we've tried to shake.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit suplinen.com.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
All right, keep up. It's me, the radar gun at T-Mobile Park. And these Mariners pitchers have me working overtime. 3 all-star aces, Logan Gilbert, Luis Castillo, and George Kirby throwing absolute gas.
Holy smokes, what a performance. Strikeout number 10 on the night.
And don't forget about Bryce Miller and Brian Wu, the young guns. Those guys get me fired all the way up.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3, a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
And just when you think you've survived, here comes Andres Munoz dialing up triple digits and shutting the door. Oh boy, I'm giddy just thinking about it.
Back-to-back strikeouts, and the ball game is over.
Trust me, you're going to want to grab a seat and feel the speed for yourself. And there we go again. I got to make sure my batteries are charged. Mariners baseball. Try and some.
The Mariners have a stacked slate of promos on deck, including this week's Julio Bat Flip Bobble Giveaway, tonight through Wednesday, and a Cal Platinum Glove Bobble Giveaway April 7th to 9th. All 6 games are Mariners value games, which means you can score seats starting at just $10. Get your tickets today at mariners.com.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Eric Johnson here. I covered a lot of accidents over the past 30 years or so, but I never got to say much about what to do after a crash. Be honest, do you know what evidence to collect, what pictures to take, what documents to request, or what you shouldn't say to your insurance company? The Washington Accident Book Series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the roads throw at them. Know your rights and how to avoid common mistakes after an accident by getting your free copy at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Heward and Mark sorry about just Mike
Heward. Not exactly Joe Cap there in the pocket.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Heward and Mike Salk.
Tomorrow, 8:30, the return of Jeff Passan for our weekly Tuesday conversations. Every Tuesday at 8:30, we'll start talking to Jeff tomorrow. And then on Wednesday, Brock, the return of Daniel Jeremiah for, a 6-show run through the draft. That should be great. We'll start talking to DJ on Wednesday at 8:30 as well. So fun week as we get back together with some of our favorite regulars.
You know what I noticed, by the way?
No.
In spending some time prepping and putting together my list, and it can still move around. I didn't send it to you guys, unlike your intrigue lists or impactful lists or most curious lists. I can still move mine around.
Okay.
But you know what I noticed about doing this? The hardest group for me was actually corner. I feel like in this draft, O-line, and you're going to see more of them than ever before in my draft profiles, linebackers, receivers, running backs, tight ends. Like, I had a real good feel in this draft for those positions. Corners I had a hard time with. So
is that
Daniel
normally
Jeremiah,
the case, or is that rare for you?
No, that's kind of rare.
Okay.
You know, I think over the years, if you listen to my Jalen Ramseys and different guys, that, you know, there's a ferocity, there's an intensity, there's a ball hawking ability, there's something that jumps out. A lot of the corners in this draft were like one-hit wonders. There's a bunch of Tariq Woolens in this draft of like, woof, there's some intrigue. But as far as like me knowing them and really wanting them as a Seahawk, that's going to be difficult. So thankfully, DJ will have a much better grasp of that and all these other dudes.
Good.
But I'll put my own unique spin, because these, more than anything, and I'll tee it up this way, more than anything, are guys that I have fallen in love with out on the college football trail.
The Seattle Seahawks select.
This is Brock Heward's draft profile.
You want traits? Check. You want a vocal leader? Check.
At the end of the day, you have to say, okay, what's best for the organization? Can you make people around you better, and can you bring people together?
Every day leading up to the draft.
Man, I have not listened to that in a year. Pretty darn close to that, 11 months. And just listening to John Schneider's comments there at the very end of it, my gosh, I think all 15 of my guys that I have on this list this year, they all resonate in that way. And number 15 on my list is inside linebacker Jay Higgins, Iowa Hawkeye. Who do I love in the league as much as anybody in Detroit? Plays right in the middle. Captain Jack Campbell. You know what he was? A Butkus Award-winning middle linebacker for the University of Iowa. And he followed Josie Jewell. And there has been a heritage, a lineage at that position in Iowa City, in a sense of pride, like a gladiator, that if you're going to be the middle linebacker for Kirk Ferentz at the University of Iowa, you're going to have thump 'em Tuesday, whack 'em Wednesday. You're going to be in pads every single Tuesday and Wednesday of the college football season, callousing yourself up, hardening yourself up so you can go on Saturdays and be a difference maker and gladiator. And Jay Higgins is that kind of guy. Now, he won't be Captain Jack Campbell in the first round because Captain Jack was 6'5" and 245 pounds and could run. Jay Higgins is 6 foot, 224 and ran 4.82. He's going to be a 6th or 7th round pick, like I said with Jabbar Muhammad. So I start this list kind of there, and as we boil it down and as we get to the week of, you're going to see guys that I would take at number 18. But these are guys that I have just fallen in love with. An hour and a half from now, Benetti's going to join the show. We're going to talk Tigers and Mariners. But I said, Jay, would you mind putting together your list of your 3 favorite players we ran into on the college football trail? And I'll be really curious if Jay Higgins is not on that list. Because when he walked in our production meeting in Iowa this year and he walked out, Benetti and Allison and Bo and Darren and I all looked at each other and said, that is a dude that could play for me. I want him as my middle linebacker. So the traits, again, not off the chart, 6 foot, 224. He did jump 33 inches. He did run 4.82. That's not awful. But at that size, if you're going to be drafted in the first 3 rounds, you got to run like 4.5. And he doesn't. But you know what he does? He makes up for it with unbelievable instincts and unbelievable angles. You can ask Benetti about one of the more uncomfortable, nerdy conversations I got in with Iowa's D coordinator by the name of Phil Parker. Phil Parker got up on the whiteboard, and I said, Phil, when I watched this defense you play, and Iowa's played the same defense against Damon Heward in the 94 Sun Bowl that they played in the 2024 season. 30 years ago, it's the same quarters defense. It's 4 down. It's quarters on the back end of it, and those linebackers and the nickel back or the nickel linebacker have all got to play zones in a way where they're spot on, where every attention to detail and every step matters. I said, Phil, it looks like your defense is a bunch of triangles, like I hear about soccer. And he got up on the whiteboard, and he drew up all these geometric and it is. It's like, yeah, on every single play, we want 3 over 1. Like that, we don't want 1 over 1. We want 3 over 1. That's why we play zone. We don't play a lot of man. If we pressure, that's one thing, but we don't pressure much. We play 3 over 1, and we try to get those angles at all times. And it takes unbelievably high IQ football players with a different sense of acumen. And Jay Higgins has that. 339 tackles, Salk. 171 tackles, tied the all-time Iowa single-season record. Follow that up with 124. The dude knows how to play the game. Give him, to back up EJ or to back up Tyrese Knight, and you feel like V had to play 2 or 3 games, he wouldn't be the most electric, dynamic player, but he would be in the right position all the time. And to me, that's a 6th or 7th round pick and also a special teams maven. Make Jay Higgins a Seattle Seahawk.
All right, so that is number 15, Jay Higgins.
Wow,
couple of questions.
Good. Man, that feels good on a Monday morning.
So he's Ben Burkervin.
No, he's thicker than Ben.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what Ben was at the combine, but there's a little more mass. There's a little more stopping power. When he hits you, you stop. Ben was a tackling machine too, but there was not
really undersized.
Really undersized. Yeah, you see Jay Higgins, you don't realize he's only 6 foot tall.
Okay.
Because he kind of has that presence that's way bigger than that. He kind of has that neck. That looks like it has a neck roll on it.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of him. He looks like, the world's most generic linebacker. He just looks like a linebacker. Now, he's different from Jaden Higgins.
Yeah, that's a receiver.
But they're both in Iowa.
One's at Iowa State,
right.
One's at Iowa.
Okay.
They're very different.
I just want to make sure I get my Higgins right.
It's a Cy-Hawk relationship. That'd be like saying, wow, he's a Cougar. He's a Washington State.
Cy-Hawk. Is that what you said?
Cy-Hawk.
Isn't that what's the guy's name who's the new GM of the Spytech? Psyops.
It's not Cyclops either. No, Cy-Hawk.
All right, Jay Higgins, number 15, a Hawkeyes linebacker.
Yep.
Okay, 230 pounds. Yeah, that's a little bigger, I guess, than Ben Burkervin was.
There's just certain positions in college football that are so cool. Mm-hmm. Maybe it was this way in basketball too, when we had the Coach K's and the guys.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is the linebacker in the middle line, college football sort of the undersized 4 from basketball like 25 years ago?
Yeah, a little bit. But it's just like what you're getting. You know this guy, honestly, we had the Iowa-Washington game this year, and it was the 25th celebration of one of the Iowa teams that was really good. And I said on the broadcast in the open to Jason, I said, look at the contrast between these two programs, right? Washington has had so much turnover, from Chris to Jimmy to Kalen to Jet, like so much turnover. Kirk Ferentz has been there 30 years. Washington is running this pro style, right? We're going to get you to the pros. You're going to play pro schemes, and we're going to have a Belichick and a Carroll and a Fish, and it's going to be all NFL. And I was like, no, we run the same stuff that the small school Iowa high schools practice, the quarters stuff that we do in college. Like, we're a college DNA.
Mm-hmm.
The other side doesn't put pads on, take the pads off. This side, honestly, the players from 25 years ago at Iowa could have plugged into practice week and known exactly what was coming. Thump them, whack them Wednesday, and thump them Tuesday. Like, that's what you do. And, and it builds up pretty darn good football players, especially on the back end and, at all levels of that Iowa defense. Pretty remarkable.
Good stuff. All right. Every day at 8 o'clock, we will be going through Brock's draft profiles, guys that he thinks that he's run into that would be good fits for the Seahawks when we get to the draft in just a couple of weeks.
Let me see if I got a little
What position do you have tomorrow for us? Give me a position. What are we looking at? Today was a linebacker.
Oh, we go to O-line.
O-line tomorrow?
We get to go to O-line tomorrow.
All right.
This is the time of the program where Damon's like, what a dork.
Yeah,
and
no
Wyman
kidding.
Too. Like, what a dork.
Yeah. I don't think they're alone. I think everyone thinks that. They're just speaking for the people, Brock. Ryan Divish probably thinks that as well. He'll join us in 20 after everything you need to know next.
The John Schneider Show.
With Wyman and Bob.
Brought to you by Pizza Hut.
When you guys bring in free agents, then they leave and you don't sign them, probably unique to each one. But is it just something you learn in that conversation and you go, okay?
Yeah, a lot of different reasons. It could be medical, it could be personality, financial, how they're going to be a fit in the building, how much they love football, what kind of worker are they. There's a whole interview process that I don't want to give out, actually.
Hear the rest of this interview on demand at seattlesports.com and on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
Hey, Brock Heward here, and I've had a share of injuries over the years. I know a little bit about discomfort, a little bit about pain. When I see old football coaches or old football players, you see the same orthopedic kind of challenges, but you don't have to play pro sports to know what I'm talking about. Some of you on this Monday may have done a little yard work. Some of you may have played a little golf. Some of you may have tried to, get on the treadmill and you're achy and you're sore. You see, painful joints from arthritis can affect anyone and make it hard to do pretty much anything. Well, that is where my friend, Dr. Daniel Nelson from Eastside Pain and Regenerative Medicine right over there in Kirkland, well, that's where he comes to play. He has seen so many patients through the years suffering from chronic joint pain caused by arthritis. So don't let pain stop you from your quality of life. Consider Dr. Nelson the only doctor with over 30 years of experience in pain medicine techniques. That's what I love. So many have jumped aboard here lately. Not Dr. Dan. This has been his business for over 3 decades. And he's got so many tools in his tool bag just waiting for you. So you give him a buzz this morning, 425-823-4000, 425-823-4000, or visit DanielNelsonMD.com. That's DanielNelsonMD.com.
Through March 31st, save double your sales tax from Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Plus, enjoy easy 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest, same as cash, 12-month financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com to save double today.
This is Matt Coker from West Coast Men's Health. Has Viagra stopped working for you? Do you hate the side effects? If you've taken Viagra for any length of time, you already know that pills are not the solution to ED. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. No pills, no shots, no surgery. We can also treat Peyronie's disease. Our non-invasive treatment for ED is painless and highly effective. We have treated thousands of men just like you. Stop living with this problem and do something about it. Do yourself a favor, do your partner a favor, and call us today.
Call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com. HSA cards welcome and financing available.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Will new tariffs impact small businesses? Rising costs and economic uncertainty can hurt your bottom line. But with Swish Funding, your business can stay strong. We offer fast, flexible funding solutions from $10,000 to $2 million for working capital, cash flow, and more. And as little as 24 hours with no collateral needed. If your business earns at least $50,000 per month and has been around for over a year, you could qualify today. Go to swishradio.com and use code GROW. SwishRadio.com, code GROW.
I'm attorney Rob Iddens, proud Marine Corps veteran and owner of Warrior Injury Law. If you've been injured, you need a lawyer that is tough, confident, and battle-tested. Call us at 253-WARRIOR for your free case review. Warrior Injury Law, battle-tested.
4 down territory, going inside the game with Michael Bumpus.
I like this. More quarterbacks should start doing this.
Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bumpin' Stacy.
It's our 23rd anniversary, and we're celebrating by giving you the chance to become a millionaire. That's right, a chance at $1 million. Join us on this road to riches every Saturday in April with 2 winners drawn every hour from 4 to 9 p.m. But the fun doesn't stop there. At 10 p.m. on the 26th, we're giving away a 2025 Mercedes-Benz worth $50,000. Don't forget, your Reef Rewards card can save you up to 25 cents per gallon at Lummi Bay Market next to Silver Reef. Silver Reef Casino Resort, located off I-5 exit 260.
Swedish Cyberknife is expanding. Dave Wyman with exciting news about Swedish adding a second Cyberknife in Seattle. Cyberknife is a non-invasive, extremely precise prostate cancer radiotherapy treatment. Compared with other radiation therapies, which last 6 to 9 weeks, the Cyberknife treatment period is much shorter, typically 5 days with daily sessions under an hour. Treat prostate cancer with Swedish Cyberknife. Swedish.org/cyberknife prostate.
Looking for a smart way to improve your home comfort without breaking the bank? 2 words, heat pump. John Curley here. Upgrade to Home Comfort Alliance heat pump and get efficient heating in the winter and cooling in the summer in 1 unit. Heat pumps use less energy and are environmentally friendly. Plus, enjoy 18 months, same as cash financing, and up to 15% off all heat pumps and air conditioning systems through March. Home Comfort Alliance for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com.
March is here, and Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have teamed up to take away your car buying madness. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, they have the widest selection of new and certified used inventory and the largest savings in the region. Now that's a slam dunk. The all-star staff at Toyota of Renton and Kirkland will assist you with a test drive, and you can score that car the very same day. Come see for yourself or visit online at toyotaofrenton.com or toyotaofkirkland.com.
O'Brien.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
It was not a great weekend for the Mariners. Could have been worse. Honestly, could have been a lot worse. If it weren't for 3 home runs that really bailed them out of trouble both on Thursday and yesterday, could have been a really tough weekend. But instead, they get the split despite being outscored 14-8. You remember the 2 home runs on Thursday, but yesterday it was Julio's turn.
Here's the pitch to Julio. There goes Robles. Swung on and destroyed. Lift off here. Upper deck on its way. Goodbye. Nearly to the top of the upper deck. That was absolutely destroyed. Julio, a monster 2-run home run, and the Mariners lead 2-1. A no-doubt moonshot by Julio.
All right, I'll tell you what. I'll throw a little extra credit to Victor Robles. He has not hit the ball great to start the year, but legged out a single. Not everybody in the league turns that into a single. Shortstop actually made, I thought, a pretty nice play on it. Was that Muncy or it was Wilson? Made a really nice play on it, and just too much speed from Victor Robles. And so we talk about ways in which the design can help or hurt the lineup, etc. that's a tie ball game if he doesn't get on and Julio
right.
just hits a home run. And instead, give some credit to Robles, finds a way on and ends up being the difference in the game.
Yeah, it's kind of the razor-sharp, razor-thin margins that this team has. So why do you think Julio stood there for just an extra beat or two longer?
Well, because it was absolutely destroyed.
So it was just a thing of art. He just wanted to see like a majestic drive.
Well, it's also like, I think it's his first April home run. Or it's not even April. It's his first March home run like ever in a real game. It's the earliest he's ever hit a home run.
You think part of it was like, stay fair?
No.
Like when you hit something with
I don't
that
think so.
kind of velocity and you get ahead of it that much, that
I don't think so.
Right away initially he's like, just stay fair.
I don't think so.
And then once he knew it, he was like, I'm gonna watch that thing.
I'm gonna guess he knew it as soon as it made contact with the bat. Like, when you just flush an iron or something and you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to watch this. This is gonna be good. That was pretty well flushed. It was a pretty good shot. The other side of this was Brian Wu, who was really tremendous yesterday. Went 6 innings, allowed just a solo home run. He was awesome. Let's see. Here is Brian talking about how much he has dominated the A's in his career.
Yeah, I think when they're on like they were today, I think, you continue to trust them and they set up other pitches well. I didn't do as good a job with the off speeds today of just trusting them and getting to their spots and obviously the homer is unfortunate, but I think continue to attack and you get ahead with those and then opens up a lot of other options for you.
By the way, that homer, I think that was Soderstrom. I was looking that guy up. He is young. He was out of high school. He was a first-round pick. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of California. Oakland.
I know. The A's.
Gosh.
Sorry.
They got some young talent.
They always do.
Goodness.
They always
gracious.
do.
Yeah, but I don't remember like this, like first round, 5 first-rounders that are in their everyday lineup now. Butler wasn't even a first-rounder. He was a 6-rounder by them. Like if these guys develop, they're going to be a problem offensively.
That's for sure. Emerson Hancock will get going tonight. His first start of the season against the Tigers. Detroit swept by the Dodgers, but I don't know how indicative that is of who they are. Elsewhere in the AL West, Texas 3-1, but Josh Young may be injured again. Angels, Astros both 2-1, so they win their series as well.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
Let's see, NFL spring meetings today in Palm Beach, Florida. They're going to talk about banning the tush push, and it looks like momentum is there for them to do that. There's going to be kickoff conversation, and then, of course, Brock, they're going to start pushing for an 18-game season. Go figure. What were the odds? Meanwhile, Pete Carroll met with the media there. He was asked about Geno Smith's deal, and he said, quote, "We're working on it."
Heard that before.
I've heard a lot of that about Geno Smith's deal. Still don't see a deal for Geno Smith, and now it's March 31st. Gonna get done?
You think Geno would be more apt to play hardball there than he would have been here? Or do you think that Pete believes, because I love him, he knows that he loves me, kumbaya, and we have all this relationship, that there's no way he's going to miss OTAs? There's no way he's going to miss the offseason.
It's a good question. I guess what I would say is I've felt the same way about Geno from the beginning. If I'm Geno Smith, I am not signing anything until after Brock Purdy signs. I'm just going to sit here and wait and say, like, all right, sign him, and then I want $1 more.
Well, what about the draft now? The draft a little over 3 weeks away. Do you think the draft plays a role? That Geno looks at that and goes, well, let's see what you do at 6. You going to get me a running back? You going to get me a receiver? You going to get me a difference maker? Or are you going to draft Shedeur Sanders
Yeah,
at
I
6?
think that's fair.
I think there's a couple things at play there, and that's why they're, quote-unquote, working on it.
The whole thing is a little bit weird, though, isn't it? Just a little weird. Mike McDonald, John Schneider, both there. They should speak, so we'll get some
and Brady's
info.
Down there.
Yeah, Brady's there. We'll talk to him tomorrow.
Brady chose Florida over Indianapolis.
That's not a huge
surprise. He chose the owners' meetings over the combine.
Is there any chance Brady's going to be golfing in Florida this week?
Yes.
I would say it's chances are high. High to quite high.
And we'll talk to him at 7:30 tomorrow.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
Brock, what do you make of the Final Four? All number 1 seeds for the first time since 2008.
Chalky.
Very chalky.
The Florida game was unbelievable. The Big 12 almost got 2 teams in. Got Houston in. Texas Tech's up 9 with 2.5 minutes to go. And Florida just did kind of Florida things that they've done all season long and found a way. So probably not surprising. I mean, you look at Florida's roster in particular. They got the best player from FAU. They got another transfer. Their point. I mean, just so the rich get richer. And as much as there's been some parity during the regular season, you know, when push comes to shove in these top programs and Duke and Florida.
Is Florida now a basketball school more than a football school?
I think so. I think that's fair. I mean, Urban won a couple national titles.
Been a football school.
Donovan won a couple national titles. Yeah, I think that's fair.
I don't know. I'm really asking the question.
UCLA women for the first time.
Yeah.
Kudos to them. Get to the Final Four.
And then we would have gotten
program.
Paige Beckers against Juju, right? And unfortunately, not going to happen just because of Juju's injury. But that's pretty cool. All right, that's everything you need to know. Kraken eliminated as well. I don't have a tremendous amount more to say about that. Let's see.
Right, I got one little question to ask you. I asked you yesterday. Baseball question, because it got floated my way. Rafael Devers, we know, upset playing DH instead of third base, and Bregman's over there at third base, and Devers came out and had like one of the worst openers in the history of the Boston Red Sox with like 12 strikeouts in 4 games. Obviously furious. Any possibility at all? Any phone call to make to play? I know he plays a bad third base, and that's why the Red Sox went out and got him. But that bat is unbelievable, one of the 10 best in baseball. Any possibility you sniff around that in the weeks or months ahead?
$31 million a year on Rafael Devers for the next, till 2033?
No, probably not.
Okay, well.
But does it get so untenable that they eat half of that?
I don't think so. No, I don't think the Red Sox are in that position anymore.
If he's a top 10 bat in baseball, why would they trade him?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't see any of that happening. I like the conversation.
All right.
But I don't see it happening.
I mean, I'd be fired up, but
Rafael Devers can really hit.
But I don't think it's going to happen.
All right.
I think
I'm just asking, just kind of poking around. And if he's that furious that he went up publicly, and he's that furious, and he just is in shutdown mode.
If he's that furious, they got to find a way to make him unfurious. They've just spent before last season, spent all that money. They got to find a way.
Which is why he says, don't make me a DH. You just paid me all this money, pay it off, and play me at the position I want to play.
Yeah, I really don't understand why they didn't make him a first baseman. Like, at the end of the day, he should be playing first. Okay, fine, he's not really a third baseman. But not everybody can DH. Like, there does...
Well, they got that young first baseman, Casas.
Yeah, what happens to him?
Well, let him DH. Don't mess with Rafael Devers. Mess with Casas. Let him DH.
Right.
I don't understand why Devers isn't at least playing first. But whatever. It's not my problem. What do I care? Ryan Divish going to join us next. Brock and Salk, Sales Sports on 710.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
How does the McDonald-Schneider tandem look like the Carroll-Schneider tandem in terms of figuring out who they want to have play here?
Every day at 7:45.
I think it's a little bit different, Salk, because certainly they both say the same thing. We want guys that love football. But the optics and the lens through which Pete Carroll looks at that and Mike McDonald look at that are different because their wiring is very, very different.
Blue 88, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
All right, let's talk about insulation as it was still a little chilly at night. This, our region, pretty common for homes to have a lot of damaged insulation or maybe even no insulation at all in your crawl space or your attic. And then, winter, it's going to make your home cold and drafty. And then once we get into the summer months, that insulation can really help keep your home from turning into an oven. Well, guess what? Utility companies have special incentives right now to help with the cost of having your home properly insulated, including a once-in-a-lifetime rebate from Puget Sound Energy. So, if you're a PSC customer and your home was built before 1990, you can receive a rebate on up to 95% of the cost to properly insulate your crawl space and attic. That is huge, 95%. Don't wait. Call Crawl Pros and learn what is going on behind that crawl space or attic hatch for free and what energy rebates you're eligible for. Don't take a risk. The best way to learn if you've got any water issues or anything else is to have Crawl Pros come out and visit your home and inspect your crawl space or attic for free. Go to crawlpros.com. That's crawlpros.com.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit VividSeats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture with daily use.
Listen up, fellow Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. Let's do it again and get vaccinated, because we're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit VaxAssist.com and schedule a vaccine today. Sponsored by Pfizer.
March is here, and Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have teamed up to take away your car buying madness. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, they have the widest selection of new and certified used inventory and the largest savings in the region. Now that's a slam dunk. The all-star staff at Toyota of Renton and Kirkland will assist you with a test drive, and you can score that car the very same day. Come see for yourself or visit online at toyotaofrenton.com or toyotaofkirkland.com.
We are Seattle Sports, the home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Watch your favorite show live at seattlesports.com.
Look, there's feelings and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey friends, Stacey Rost here. Who has some of the best deals on new Fords and Isuzus in the Pacific Northwest? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Who has a large selection of the highest quality used vehicles in the Pacific Northwest? That would also be Wayscar Ford in Auburn. And what dealership promises no games, no gimmicks, and never any pressure to purchase? Yes, that is correct. It's Wayscar Ford in Auburn still. Who's the only Ford dealer in all of Washington to offer a 5-day or 500-mile, no questions asked, 100% money-back return policy? Wayscar Ford in Auburn. They offer free lifetime powertrain warranty on virtually all of their new Fords. Who's the only dealer that will purchase your used car, pay you right up front, and then once they resell your old car, return 50% of the profit to you? Only Wayscar Ford in Auburn. They've given over $750,000 back to customers who have sold them their cars. And finally, what dealership has been family-owned and operated in Auburn for over 103 years? You guessed it. Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Visit them at wayscarford.com.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10
on Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Quite the weekend for the Mariners. Could have been worse. Could have been better. That's for sure. They go 2-2, despite being outscored 14-8 by the A's. Ryan Divish was there for all of it, and he joins us now. Seattle Times baseball reporter Ryan Divish. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. Can you, when Benetti does his 3 favorite football players, can he do it in his Brock impersonation? Because it's one of my favorite things in the world when he talks about relationships. And, you feel this. I love it when he does that little run that Brock, the rhythm and the runs that Brock speaks on. He's like one of those women.
Why?
That,
How?
one of those,
what do you mean?
One of those dudes that overperforms on American Idol. On the during the very beginning, and they have all these crazy runs. That's how Brock talks.
Divish, curious minds need to know. We understand you're outside of the dentist. Are you a sedation dentistry guy like the Graz? What are you?
No, this is just a cleaning, hopefully. But yeah, it's the dentist is never fun. In a longer story once, I'd never had a cavity in my life. I'd never had any major dental work. And then I managed to hit myself in the face with a titanium driver in a fit of rage, and I had to have an emergency root canal and chip 3 other teeth. So,
how'd that happen?
I don't think crown counts as sedation, Brock. I don't know whether that's sedation dentistry. That's last night's crown doesn't count.
How do you hit yourself in the face with your own driver?
Yeah, my own driver. I was having a temper tantrum. And I went to slam the driver in my bag at the back of the cart, and it caught the strap and then snapped up and hit me in the face. I also got, I think, 6 stitches out of it, too.
So when Kelnick had his little incident a couple of years ago, you were kind of like, yeah, I get it. I'm kind of there with him.
Yeah, I mean, there are parts of Jared that I'm very similar to, and there's parts of, Cal that I'm very similar to. But, yeah, I understood when Jared had his meltdown what happened.
Before we talk about the weekend, let's spend a minute on Cal, because, that was sort of the story of last week leading into opening day. And then obviously, he had his meeting with the media this weekend, got a little teary eyed. He had his teammates there to kind of bust his chops. Why is Cal here for the next 6 years?
That's a good question. I think Cal feels ownership in this team and where it's going and what it could be. He's played a large part in getting it to the playoffs 2 years ago. And I think his relationship with this area, with the team, the ownership that he feels, the responsibility that he feels, he is one of the most responsible human beings I've ever been around, because I am one of the least responsible human beings you'll ever find. Just that level of responsibility he feels to this area, the fan base, the organization, it's kind of off the charts. And I think when he left Boris Corp and went with his agent to XL, I think a pathway opened up. And I think Cal is so no nonsense. He doesn't want that kind of drama and all this. He just wants to play baseball. And I think he wants some level of comfort. But I do think he does feel like a responsibility to help kind of push this thing forward when maybe a lot of people expected it to fall apart here in the next 2 or 3 years with everybody leaving free agency.
It's interesting, and this position well, that catcher position. Wasn't Zunino many of those things? A dad in baseball, that ownership, just a kind of a professional mentality and discipline, and unfortunately just kind of had a massive hole in his swing that could never really get fixed. Haven't we kind of gone and had a couple catchers in that vein over the last 10-plus years?
Yeah, I mean, Zunino was a breath of fresh air when he came here, just in the sense of defense. I mean, watching the defensive deficiencies of the Mariners catchers leading up to Mike Zunino, we once joked that the grounds crew had to continually resod the path that Miguel Olivo made running back to get the ball all the time because he couldn't catch it.
Was it Olivo that Dave Niehaus called the golden retriever?
Yeah, I believe so, yes. And it wasn't like Jeff Clement, Rob Johnson, Kenji Jojima, Adam Moore were any better. Zunino just wasn't quite as complete as Cal. Cal's hit tool is a little bit better. I mean, you look at it, though, Zunino was never, he hit, I think his best year with the Mariners, I think he hit 226. Cal has command similarly with the presence that he has and such. But I do think there is growth, or there is room for Cal to be a little bit more offensively than Zunino ever could be. I think, talking with Cal, I wrote that big story. One of the things he does want to cut down on his strikeouts some and just continue to grow as a hitter, believing that he isn't, nobody wants to hit 220. And yes, you love the homers, but he believes he can still hit the 30 homers while being a better overall hitter and hitting better with runners in scoring position and all those things. I mean, this is a guy that was second in the league in framing metrics in 2023 and redid it all and went and visited Austin Hedges, the guy who beat him, so he could beat him in 2024 and have the best framing metrics. So Cal's not going to be satisfied with his status quo no matter what, and I think people who've been around him know that. So, yeah, it was a big week for the Mariners. You get the streaming thing out, you get the Cal extension signed. Like, there's plenty to criticize the Seattle Mariners about and the ownership and everything else, but those two things are pretty good things for the organization and for the fan base.
Well, we'll get to the weekend here. Last thing on Cal there. Have you seen a player admired by his clubhouse as much as Cal in your years covering this team?
No, I haven't. I mean, the respect level that he has, and this started 2 years ago, I think, and 2 or 3 years ago, if you recall, when he hit the homer in 2022, he was sent down that year.
Mm-hmm.
He was optioned out, and it took Tom Murphy getting hurt for him to get called back up, and he kind of put it all together. But I think that year when he played with the thumb injury and the torn ligaments, and people were seeing what he was going through on a daily basis just to get out there, and never complained and never asked for time off and played pretty much every day behind the plate, I think players respected that. All of a sudden, certain players didn't manage to not really get it, but most of the players on that team saw this guy, putting himself through hell just to get out there and perform because something more mattered to him than just how he felt. And that respect level was built. But yeah, that was fun. I mean, like watching those guys, and you've talked to Cal, that Bryce drives him insane, probably more than Logan. His favorite thing is Bryce isn't that interesting. He says the same four things every day, and it usually involves the word howdy. He's like, why do you guys love him so much?
He got a pretty good, I thought, yesterday or Friday, whatever that was. It was a pretty good question I thought he asked. So let's dig into the weekend. 4 games. It does not a season make. It doesn't a sample size make. But is it a little bit more fair to judge based on the fact that it's the same lineup and roster basically as last year?
Yeah, I mean, it's Daniel Kramer at one point looked at me, just had this exasperated look. He said, I've written this story 100 times last year. We're going to do this again. And that is the same thing. I think people believing that Dan Wilson is going to run a game that much differently than Scott, or the belief system and what he has, or how they do things. No, I mean, like, the same principles still apply. Of all the things that Dan really preached was just a different hitting philosophy, or at least a different mindset when you went to the plate. And that was, based on what Edgar wanted. The pieces are all still the same, and you can preach stay up the middle all you want. When they're in the box and they're battling, the last thing they're worried about is, oh my God, if I don't stay up the middle, Dan's going to be mad at me. These players are pros and they've been in the league a long time. They're going to do what they want to do. I think for me, the biggest difference this year compared to last year is the mechanics of the infield and how they're trying to do stuff. And really, if you think about it, last year they were piecing it together for a lot of the season. The tandem of Rojas and Urias, or the platoon of Rojas and Urias, that really didn't pan out early. And then, they were kind of moving things around. They weren't planning to play Josh Rojas that much at third base. So, like, the mechanics of how they use the infield, and, a year ago at this time, they were using Mitch Haniger in right field almost every day. They have their 3-set outfielders. So how Dan uses the players and the roster to kind of best get the best results, that's probably the biggest difference. I mean, the players are who they are, and I think the faults and the possibilities for struggle we've seen over this first 4 games, and we've also seen the potential. Like the first night where they won the game and they struck out 7 times and walked 7 times, you're like, okay, I can see how they want to get there. I can see how they could have success. And then the next night they go out and they face Jeffrey Springs, who has a great changeup, and they cannot hit lefty changeups for whatever reason. and he strikes out a bunch of guys on 2 strikes with the lefty changeup that they know is coming, and they don't have the discipline to not swing at it. So it's like that's the yin and the yang of this team, and really it's hard to know what we're going to see more. We're going to see more like the first night, we're going to see more like the second night, or even yesterday with Sears. Like, this team should be better against righties than they are, and they really struggle against lefties better than they are. And they just, for whatever reason, do not do well against left-handed pitching.
It's funny you bring up the infield. I mean, it's not funny, but you bring up the infield deployment, and that's actually been one of the most frustrating things for me in thinking about not just the roster construction, but even then the rollout. Like, you know, Lyle brought up earlier that Dylan Moore didn't help Polanco out much on a throw from third to first. And my immediate thought is Dylan Moore should be playing third while Polanco should be playing first. Like, I'm kind of confused by the way the whole defensive infield has come together.
Yeah, I am too. And I think you throw Rowdy Tellez in the mix. Like, they weren't anticipating, I think, having Rowdy Tellez on the roster, even when they signed him to the minor league deal. But the Haniger injury and just kind of how things played out in the spring, Tellez is on there. Now your roster is set up with, you have 2 left-handed hitting first basemen. And Rowdy is a better defensive player than Luke Raley. He has actually really soft hands. He's got a body by mozzarella stick, but he's still a really good defensive first baseman. But, like, Luke is not as strong over there. But we didn't see Luke play very much either. Like, when he's at DH, like, you want Luke Raley in games, so he's on the bases and creating havoc a little bit as well. And so that whole thing kind of mixes up a little bit. And I really thought, honestly, and from what I was told, that, like, early in the season, especially, they know Polanco's not great there. They know he didn't have the requisite amount of reps at third base to get ready because of the knee issue. I figure we would see Dylan Moore late in games at third base. I thought he would be the defensive replacement, especially when you have a lead, to do that. I mean, part of it is that Polanco's their only consistent hitter, so they want to get him as many plate appearances as possible. But I figure we would see Dylan Moore at third base. And, that's the other part of the roster is Mastrobuoni is not a great third baseman. You have Leo Rivas, who's the best defensive infielder on the 40-man roster down in Tacoma playing. So could we, in a week or two, see them swap out Mastrobuoni for Leo Rivas? I know you want Ben Williamson, and I want to point out I had a man crush on Ben Williamson before you did. I think it would be
equally
a
square faces, equally wide square faces. You guys look eye to eye. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like,
are you calling me a Ben Williamson poser? Is that what you're calling me?
No, I just jumped on late. I'm just saying.
Or are you saying that you are a Ben Williamson hipster?
No, I was a Ben Williamson believer before you were. Yes, I like Ben Williamson. Big square head like mine.
Yep.
Heads the size that would actually fit Brock's eye space. When you have a head that big. But no, I think it would be a disservice to bring him up right now. You mentioned Zunino and bringing somebody up before they're ready and what that can do to their approach and their swing. Ben Williamson isn't as strikeout prone as Zunino was even coming out of college. But, like, somebody says, well, we just need him to hit 150 like everyone else and we'll take the defense. Yeah, but it isn't how you get to 150. I think that's the biggest thing with the Mariners. It's not just about the batting average, it's the strikeouts. Like against Spring or against Osvaldo Badeau the other night, where that guy didn't know where it was going. And they walked 6 times or 4 times and got hit twice. Every time they had runners on, they struck out. And that's the bigger problem is, like, if Ben Williamson comes up and strikes out a whole bunch, then the 150 doesn't matter if you're striking out all the time with runners on base. So to me, like, let the kid play, see if he can help you down the road, give him a month in AAA. He's played less than 150 minor league games. They got to fix it within. Now, Polanco, everybody makes a big deal about the double bounce throw. He was trying to do what they want him to do. He just executed poorly. My bigger problem is he bounced 2 throws on routine grounds at Perry Hill, or ground balls that Perry Hill labels in the box, where they're routine plays, you don't have to do much. Balls where he had to take 1 step to his left, 1 step to his right, had all the time to set up. He still bounced them over, and then he almost airmailed one over Rowdy's head. I mean, Rowdy had to get off the bag and grab it. There has been no happy medium. And to me, even then, also not calling off Cal and calling Snyder, that cost them a run. Snyder was probably most at fault because he believed that a pitcher is an athlete and should leave the mound and catch something. No, you do not. Especially when, large dumper is right there. Don't get the hell out of the way. I mean, did you see the look on Cal's face when Snyder hit him and tried to catch the ball and dropped it, Cal turned around, and I was like, yeah, there's going to be hell to pay for that. But Polanco, that's Polanco's ball. He's the one running in. It's in front of him. He has to call everyone off. But you can see the tentativeness of Jorge Polanco in the field. He's uncertain, and it's partially because he doesn't have the reps. He couldn't take ground balls every day. I'll say this. Like, Josh Rojas got better last year defensively compared to what he was at the start of spring training. Because I remember watching the first week and a half of spring training, and it was Rojas over at third, and then Urias couldn't throw at that point, and then he couldn't really field either. So it was just like, he was just like a blocking sled out there taking balls off the chest, and I kind of looked at Shanna like, this is the worst defense I've ever seen. But Rojas got better and better and better and was able to, turn into a pretty good defensive infield. I don't know that Polanco can get to Rojas's level, but he hasn't been healthy enough to get the reps to do it. So like you said, him being out there 3 times at third base, playing the entire game without a defensive replacement, I guess he went to second to winning, where he's not great at either. I think that's an issue. They have to figure out a way where he's not costing runs late and causing issues. It's just it can't be like every time a ground ball's hit over there that you're worried. I mean, and it's not just like people are talking about the arm strength. Kyle Seager didn't have a good arm. He had a noodle for an arm, but he caught everything. He had the right footwork to get rid of it quick and make the play. And I think that's what Polanco has to do. But there's just not a lot of confidence there. And I mean, like you're looking, I'll say this, we thought Ryan Bliss was subpar defensively. He made all the plays this weekend. Now they didn't look pretty on all of them on the routine ones, and that's the ones I think he's going to struggle with.
Mm-hmm.
But, make the plays. And I think that's the one thing people don't get is the play Polanco bounced the ball twice. It was 20% chance success rate. My bigger issues were not making or bouncing balls on the routine plays and then not overrunning that ball on that blooper behind Saucedo. You got to pick the ball up. Whatever you do, you have to pick the ball up so the guy doesn't score.
How about
let JP grab it?
How about a positive from this weekend? I'll throw it out there, and that is Gregory Santos, who you called the idea of Gregory Santos on our show at some point last year, and you were absolutely right. He never really materialized into much more than that. Based on what you saw in his 2 outings this weekend, is there the potential for him to be more than just the idea this year?
Yeah, I mean, he looked really pretty good yesterday. He got the 3 ground balls. Almost killed a guy. But, I can honestly see him, in Major League, ripping the head off the mannequin, when he's warming up. Yeah, I mean, that's big to have him. I was pretty stunned, when Dan went to Munoz with the top of went to Thornton with the top of the order coming up instead of Munoz. Thornton got out of it, and that dude is crazy and insane and, a little strange, which I like about him. But having Santos ready to go as well, I think that's a good weapon to have. One, because he gets ground balls. Everybody thinks he's a strikeout guy because he throws so hard, but he gets ground balls. You get him in, and you have to bring him in with a runner on first base. You can get a double play ball out of him, similar to what Topa used to do and some of those other guys.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big development. I thought Gabe Spire looked pretty good. When you see Matt Brash and Troy Taylor in the big league clubhouse and they're going out on a rehab assignment, they're going to go start pitching in real games, and you're thinking to yourself 2 weeks from now, you could have both of them. It changes the dynamic of your bullpen. You're not having Carlos Vargas in there and, whoever else they may send out, Bizardo, or they may send out Saucedo. They have some real dudes coming back. And then, 2 or 3 weeks after those guys get back, you could be getting Trevor Gott and Jackson Coar back as well. And then you have something more than what you have right now. I think they know they kind of have to piece it together until Brash and Taylor get back. But once you get those guys back, then you can really, manipulate the situations and what you want to do.
What's really cool, Salk? They could have a Ben Williamson Believer Night and it could be both a bobblehead and a Funko with Divish and Williamson. You don't know if it's a bobblehead or a Funko doll. It can be both. What do you think?
Or else they could put Salk's body on the Funko and then have like a Chia Pet hair coming out of the shoulders and the neck.
All right, that's very unnecessary. How dare you take those sort of shots? That's
Hey, can I ask you? Can I ask you a question that you get on your social media a bunch? I'm sure on our text toy we've seen a lot today. At what point, Ryan, do you think if guys continue to struggle hitting and everything else, you start to see a youth movement? Do we start to see Cole Young this year? I mean, we joke about Williamson and everything else. Tyler Locklear. If these guys are all hitting at the AAA level, because I know a lot of the fans are like, can we just see something new? Even Daniel Kramer, can I at least write a new story? Can I at least see if these former first and second round picks can actually kind of be difference makers for us as Oakland runs out 5 of their first round picks and they're all 22, 23, 24 years of age?
I mean, I guess, but I think that would be, if you're doing that, unless these guys are really, really producing at AAA and your guys at the big league level are really, really struggling, then you're waving the white flag on the season, aren't you? Because it's the unknown. You built this roster, regardless of whether people believe it, or I believe it, Mike or the fans believe it. Like in that room and in T-Mobile, they built this roster believing they can compete for a playoff spot. And given the nature of the American League, you're talking probably about needing to win 85 to 86 games. Their pitching staff alone should get them 80 wins. The way they are. I mean, like last year, the main 5 guys started 149 games, and they only won 77 of them, which is crazy to believe when you have the best pitching staff in baseball. But like if you get 145 games out of your main 5 guys, George Kirby comes back and is better. I mean, to me, that should be 80 wins out of 145. And then how do you get the last 5? I mean, it would be difficult for me to believe that so many of these guys would be that bad that you would have multiple young guys come up. I mean, like, do I think we'll see Cole Young at some point? Yeah, of course I do. If he hits and Locklear may come up, you'll see them adjust. The one thing they do have is their bench players all have options, so they can move some guys around. But yeah, I think to me, you're going to have to find ways to piece together offense, maybe that like you did last year. But I don't know that a youth movement is that good. I think people, and this is true in college recruiting, it's true of the love of the draft and everything else. People have an obsession with potential, what could be. Yep. When you're in the brunt of the season, or even in the first few months of the season, it's like figure out how to fix it. It's not always a loft issue, as my coach would say about my catching skills, but fix it. Find a way. Like, these guys are established major leaguers, most of them. Find a way to be better than what you've been. I mean, like I was mentioning this on when I talked to Lyle and TJ on their podcast last night that hasn't come out. But to me, when you say it's early, it's not about the wins and losses. Like, a lot of people say, well, it's just early. And people say, well, these games matter, the wins matter. That's not what you're talking about when you say it's early. It's like, it's early enough that the results you have, you believe in your mind that you can change them over the course of the next month or 2 months. Like, that this isn't the process, or this isn't the way you get these results, that you can change your offense, or you can fix things, you can improve. And I think that's what you need to see from the Mariners over the next 4 to 6 weeks is are they going to improve? Are they trending in a way that you look at it and say, okay, this team is getting better. The Edgar approach is showing more dividends. You're hitting the ball hard, you're getting more results. Or, over the next 4 to 6 weeks, if you're not showing any improvement, if you're regressing or if you're staying the same, that's when you make the difference. I think that's what happened to Scott Service last year, is like there was just too long of a prolonged stretch where everything kind of stayed the same or was regressing, and there was no signs of it getting better. And at that point, Jerry pulls the plug and tries to find a different voice. I mean, they're not going to do that with Dan, obviously.
We got to go, Ryan. Quit delaying going into the dentist. We know what you're doing here.
They're knocking on your window.
You've been talking for 7 straight minutes. I know you just don't want to go into the dentist. We've got to go. We have a clock, and I know you're trying to avoid what you've got to do, but we've got to go.
Come on, I don't want to go in there.
I can tell. Take a shot of Crown, get in there, and you'll be ready to go. We'll see you soon. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
There is the great Ryan Divish, who you can read at the Seattle Times. Now we're late. We'll be right back with Brock and Salk.
Seattle Sports, your home for Wyman and Bob.
What a night.
Weekdays 2 to 7.
How about that for an opener where it felt like, here we go, Logan is dealing. He made one mistake, but he was just dominant. He was just outstanding.
There was a shot of Logan Gilbert after he delivered one of his pitches where he just was just screaming. And you saw how intense everybody was. It was really good to see.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Lee Johnson Auto Family. This is King. This organization's a special one. They call it the Lee Johnson Auto Family, and it's not just a name, it's not just some cliche. They foster an environment for us to become a family, to work together, to really become close, and they show us in a lot of different ways that they do value us. Is it perfect? No, no place is. But I've been very thankful to be here in the almost 10 years and have every plan to stay here for a lot longer and just watch it continue to grow.
He's fun and professional, which explains why so many people visiting Lee Johnson Kia ask for him by name. The LJ Way is the Lee Johnson Auto Family.
Hey guys, did you know that half of men over age 50 have erectile dysfunction on some level? Whether you have mild, moderate, or severe ED, West Coast Men's Health can help. We don't prescribe pills and hope they work. Instead, we treat the root cause of the problem with acoustic wave therapy, which breaks down plaque, unclogs arteries, and restores blood flow. We have treated thousands of men across our 11 locations nationwide and have established ourselves as a leader in the industry. So whether you have ED, Peyronie's disease, or suffer from chronic pain, such as neuropathy, carpal tunnel, or Dupuytren's contracture, West Coast Men's Health can help. No pills, no shots, no surgery, just results.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call West Coast Men's Health at 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
March is here, and Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have teamed up to take away your car buying madness. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, they have the widest selection of new and certified used inventory and the largest savings in the region. Now that's a slam dunk. The all-star staff at Toyota of Renton and Kirkland will assist you with a test drive, and you can score that car the very same day. Come see for yourself or visit online at toyotaofrenton.com or toyotaofkirkland.com.
O'Brien. Look, there's feelings and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's RAMP.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports.
Give me a freaking auto!
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, this is Brock and Salk on Seattle Sports.
Brock Ewert is my hero.
Jay Buhner just punched me in the kidney.
We're going to give you a minute.
Doesn't really work that way, Sherm. This is a show that has my name on it.
It kind of does, though.
Now here are your hosts, Brock Ewert and Mike Salk.
Hello! Good stuff there from our friend Ryan Divish. We'll switch gears for a few minutes and then a little more baseball to come as Brock's partner Jason Benetti going to join us at 9:30. He also calls Tigers games. They're coming off a series sweep. They lost to the Dodgers. So they'll be here for 3 games starting tonight, and we'll chat with Jason about that and other things as well. You pointed this out earlier, though, Brock, and I thought I'd spend a couple of minutes on it. This is Michael Shawn-Dugar's mock draft. And love Michael Shawn. So, but I just, these drafts, this is not him specific. It's just everybody who's got the Seahawks taking a wide receiver in the first round. It's driving me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And he's one of many. So this is not like 1 or 2 people. There's, tons of these mocks that have the Seahawks. Now, let me say, in his mock draft, he did a full 7-round mock for the Seahawks. He had them trading back up into the first round. So in Michael Shawn's mock for The Athletic, he's got Matthew Golden, wide receiver from Texas, at pick 18. Mm-hmm. And then Gray Zabel, who we've talked about quite a bit, North Dakota State lineman, at pick 29 after a trade. And then they would only be left with 1 second and third round pick. They go edge rusher Braden Swinson from LSU. Mm-hmm. And center Jared Wilson from Georgia, who we've seen a couple of times in these mocks. And then 4th round, they go tight end. In any event, I really, really don't want to see them take a wide receiver at number 18. I just really don't want to see that.
Even if they have that receiver graded in that kind of vein.
No.
Even if they believe it's Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, and they've been right, here more often with the receivers than they were 5, 6,
but
7,
Tyler
10
Lockett
years
and
ago.
DK Metcalf were taken in the 2nd and 3rd rounds.
Yep.
I really, and I'm not gonna, and I won't say that if they take a guy in the 2nd or 3rd round. But if they take a wide receiver with their first pick this year in the draft, I'm going to be really bummed out. I'm really going to feel as if they've just not, A, they haven't addressed the offensive line thing the way it needs to be addressed, and B, they're going right back into the same problem they had before in terms of roster construction.
I think what this mock tells you is he would say, well, hold on a second, Michael. That's not true. I'm still coming up to take a first-round offensive lineman because that guy is going to come in and be a day 1 starter, and I also get a center there that could start in the 2nd or 3rd round. So I am actually still addressing that. And then, and this comes into play too, and I think I learned this and we talked about this when they didn't draft the big defensive tackle that's been a difference maker in Philly and everything else. And a lot of other people, including Detroit, did not draft that guy, Carter, because there were some concerns. But the thought was you also, are paying millions and millions and millions of dollars. You got to make sure, A, it's the right guy. And then B, Salk, the argument, and I'm a little devil's advocate. I would agree with you. I want big, 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 big. But the devil's advocate would say, hey, man, these top receivers are getting $30 million a year. At pick number 18, we get cost control for 5 years on a guy.
That's fair.
And we're paying him, a third of that, a fourth of that.
Great. You know what you already did, though? You already drafted Jackson Smith and Jigba at 20.
Yep.
Like, I'm really going to struggle with continuing to throw, like.
And his productivity, was it important last year?
It was absolutely important. Nobody says that they're not important, but I just believe that you can't continue to throw that level of resource at that position. I just believe it in my heart, especially after you went corner with your other top pick in that spot. I just, if you're going to go corner, and then go wide receiver. I love that last year they went defensive line. That was great. But you're putting yourself in a position where I think that you've got to stay with the big people up front.
Well, then we get in that argument, and this is what's going to be great. Starting on Wednesday, all the way up to the draft, after the draft, Daniel Jeremiah will be a part of this thing. Nobody more dialed in, nobody more plugged in. The guy has been offered NFL GM jobs in the past. You know, he knows his stuff inside and out.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where I think we will probably have a bunch of this conversation. Best player available or biggest need? I think comes into play with the way this offseason is shaped up with unfortunately the grades of most of these guys in the offseason and the interior line guys they brought in and from a value standpoint it felt like not really going to go down that Laken Tomlinson road again.
I don't think it's that.
If Golden is an 8.9 and that grade is off the chart and he is there, and I'm just throwing that out as an example, or any other receiver is just there and he's the best football player available, do I then have to take the biggest need?
No, you don't have to do either of those things. I think this is a false dichotomy. This is the choice that has been given in the draft forever and ever. And it's a false dichotomy. I've been thinking about this, and I'm ready to make this statement.
Okay.
There is a third option. And we should all stop saying that you have a choice in the draft between best available and biggest need. Because different positions have different values. The best available? Okay, yeah, your best available might be a kicker, but obviously, no. And this is an exaggerated example. You're not going to draft a kicker in the first round because the position isn't valuable enough. You still have to put value to these positions, and where you are choosing to spend the capital you have, where on your roster you're choosing to spend it, is important. Best available means, to me, all right, fine, take the specialist out of it. Maybe I was making too exaggerated an example. But if you're saying best available, well, if one guy's a corner and the other guy is a defensive edge rusher, one guy's more valuable than the other. The value part matters. It's not just best available or position of need. Look, I think the Seahawks' biggest need is...
You know who made that, who would actually have co-signed on that last year? And would have made the biggest statement in that way in the Hard Knocks offseason? Joe Shane. Yeah, I know. We're not doing this because value. Here's the value. Here's the value of running backs. Here's the value. We don't pay a running back this. This is historically, this is the value. This is the value. This is the value. We're not doing this.
He screwed that up. There's no doubt.
I certainly hope Saquon doesn't go to Philadelphia. Well, he went to Philadelphia, and he was borderline the MVP of the league.
He was, in that case, ignoring something that was already in front of him as opposed to drafting and taking a risk on it. Like, they already knew what Saquon meant, and shame on him for not recognizing it.
But from a value of a running back is not the value of a D lineman. The value of an offensive lineman. That's what value tells you.
And it still isn't. Just because Saquon is a unicorn doesn't mean that the value of a running back is as good as it is somewhere else. Brock, if you want to talk need, wide receiver is more of a need pick to me than it is a best available pick. Well, we need a wide receiver because we moved on from some guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that to me would be going more towards need. I think, look, they don't need a defensive lineman, but if they draft a defensive lineman in the first round, I'm not going to be upset because that's a position of such great importance and value that you say, hey, you can't pass up on that. You can never have enough of those guys.
Yeah, you need a new word for value. If we're going to, and I don't mind this conversation. I think there is a debate there, and it can be a false dichotomy. We're going to have to come up with a new word than value.
All right, come up with whatever word you want. But
no, I'm not. I'm saying you are. I'm saying you're the word.
How about importance? How about importance?
You're going to come up with
How about positional importance?
Mm-hmm.
Does that one work better for you?
I kind of like that better.
Because value, you're right. Value has some, it's
lots of different connotations.
Yeah, there's the connotation of you're trying to get a bargain.
And Shane just flushed that down the toilet.
Okay, fine. So take that one out. How about just positional importance?
Yeah.
It's got to play a role beyond just best available or whatever needs you have on your team, because that's just filling holes.
It's like clock integrity. It's important, Salk, so let's have some. Can we, please?
Come right back with everything you need to know next on Brock and Salk.
When you're on the pitch clock and don't have time for your favorite Seattle sports shows, listen to the podcast on demand.
How about that? Unbelievable. Who would have thought?
Every hour, every interview, every look behind the scenes.
Dan Wilson's the new skipper.
This is a window. This is a time where we can get it done, and that's the hope. That's the vision for this club.
Find us on seattlesports.com, the Seattle Sports app, or wherever you get podcasts.
Holy smokes!
Never miss a minute of Seattle sports, the home of the Mariners.
For over 113 years, Pacific Lamp and Supply Company has been your #1 lighting specialist in Washington, from the Space Needle in Seattle all the way to the Riverwalk in Spokane. With the largest lighting inventory in Washington, Pacific Lamp's knowledgeable and experienced staff can assist with any lighting issue, including intricate lighting and control designs. Plus, they work with all utilities in Washington to get you the best available lighting rebates. Pacific Lamp and Supply Company, Washington's lighting experts since 1912. Visit pacificlamp.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Mariners baseball is officially back. Don't miss the biggest games at T-Mobile Park this season, like marquee matchups against the Yankees and Dodgers. Ichiro Hall of Fame weekend, August 8th through 10th. 6 fireworks nights and a stacked lineup of bobbleheads, Funko Pops, and exclusive giveaways. Plus, with Mariners value games, you can score seats starting at $10 on select dates all season long. Go to mariners.com/tickets to lock in your seats today.
A deep blast. This is gone. Home run, Julio.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The John Schneider Show.
Every Thursday until draft day on Wyman and Bob.
Listen live Thursdays at 4 p.m. or watch the interviews on the Seattle Sports YouTube page.
We've all been there. Sleepless nights, mind racing, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Video security, burglar alarms, fire alarms, access control, 24/7 monitoring, and more. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy, knowing we're here for you, your people, and your business. Visit bayalarm.com to talk to a local security expert. Bay Alarm, we got you.
It's the World Fighting Championships at Emerald Queen Casino Event Center. Saturday night, May 10th. Experience the thrill of live MMA, boxing, Muay Thai, and kickboxing. Tickets at emeraldqueen.com. Don't miss this exciting mixed martial arts event. The World Fighting Championships, May 10th at Emerald Queen Casino, the entertainment capital of the Northwest. 21 and older, need gambling help? Call 800-547-6133 or visit emeraldqueen.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business, powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
Need to know.
15 minutes past every hour with Brock and Salk.
Here's what you need to know. Up first.
It was not the best weekend for the Mariners, but it could have gone a whole lot worse. I mean, despite being outscored 14-8, they managed to at least win 2 of the 4 games. So that's important, right? I mean, ultimately, what was the conversation we've been having? Start fast, right? The wins and losses in March and April are certainly going to matter as much as the ones in August and September. Okay. Well, then you found a way to win 2 of those games, even if the offense did not look like anybody wants it to look. They really did have their troubles hitting, scoring runs. They're hitting 175 as a team. They had 5 hits total in each of the 4 games.
Was it 1 run off of a starter in 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, they've really struggled, and they've struck out a lot, too. I mean, 41 strikeouts in 4 games is over 10 per game, and I know that's sort of the issue so many people have had. But you pitched really well because that's what you do. And yesterday, that included Andres Munoz closing it out.
2-1 Mariners lead. Muncy lead at first. He stays. The pitch. Swing and a miss and a slider. Strike 3 and it's over. The Mariners will win it 2-1 this afternoon. They come away with a split of the 4-game series against the A's. Everybody on their feet. Save number 2 on the year for Andres Munoz.
It was 3 runs because of Julio's home run. That was actually off the starter. They left in there into the 7th inning. I'll say this, when Mooney's slider is that tight and he's commanding the fastball above 98, it's unhittable. You're just guessing.
He hasn't thrown the kick change yet, has he? In any of his outings? Okay.
I'm not seeing that yet. No.
I mean, we're excited to. How about that, by the way? Yeah. Like, he's been ridiculous, and he's just hanging on to the kick change.
Yep. Yeah, that velo is back up. That slider, as I said, when it locates down and away, those guys just, it's honestly, it's like me when I was shooting clays. Like at the end of it, my blind eyes, I just shot from the hip. I have as good a chance to hit this clay just closing my eyes than I actually do trying to focus in on it. Same thing with Mooney when he's going.
Pretty funny. Julio hit the big home run yesterday. That was awesome. Emerson Hancock will be on the hill tonight. His first start of the season against Detroit, who was swept by the Dodgers.
Here's the second thing you need to know.
NFL has their spring meetings today, or starting today in Palm Beach. These are the owners' meetings. So everybody's there, and the competition committee's talking about the tush push and changing kickoffs and pushing for an 18-game season. Maura said Condota was reporting, or maybe this was just public, that the Seahawks have been granted international rights to Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah. Does that include American Samoa?
That's a good question.
And all the islands down there, so we can get some polys, some big people,
you
some
don't
linemen.
Automatically just get access to have
Fiji,
those people be on
Tonga,
your team.
American Samoa. If we are getting Australia, New Zealand, I want all the Arca.
You want
what
all
are they
the
called?
Pacifica?
It's the Global Markets Program rights.
Yeah.
They were granted those. So he said that does increase the chances of teams playing in those markets when they have those rights.
Tell you what, man. Been to New Zealand, been to Sydney. He's the only place I've been in Australia. About as awesome as anywhere I've ever been. If that happens, Brock, we got to get on that trip.
How long is that flight?
It's long, but we got to get on it.
Like, seriously, how long is that flight?
It's long.
From Seattle, 18 hours?
No.
No?
14 I think it's
hours?
closer to like 12 or 14.
Okay.
It's long, but it's pretty great. When you get there, it is awesome, man. Especially Sydney. Oh, my gosh.
Here's the third thing you need to know.
We get the Final Four with all number 1 seeds. First time since 2008. We got the Kraken being mathematically eliminated this weekend with 8 games left to play. They are currently the 5th worst team in the league. Now, there was a draft lottery in the NHL, so take that for what it means. But they could get as low as 3rd if they play particularly poorly here down the stretch.
And Dave Wyman is 61 today. Happy birthday to Dave Wyman. And how in the world is Kyle Brown celebrating his 15th year work anniversary this week? Does that include his internship?
I don't think so, no.
When he was wearing his loafers and white socks?
I don't think it does.
When he was
I think
a
that's
Coug?
probably just when he was hired.
Wow, that is amazing.
Pretty
his timing,
amazing.
impeccable.
Yeah.
By the way, I got to get something off my chest. That's everything
you need to know. What?
I gotta ask, based on an email that I just saw, a work email that I am just reading. So you could have just told me. If you were going to be a regifter, you could have just told me. Are you regifting a gift I gave you?
No, I'm not.
Are you sure?
I just keep forgetting to bring it home.
Because I'm reading on an email.
No, but
that Salk has decided to donate something that I had given to him to the winner of the tournament pool.
No, Lefko's just busting my you-know-whats because I didn't really want to participate in the bracket, but I did, and I filled it out, and I filled it out all chalk, and it didn't work. I'd be leading the stupid bracket.
Yeah, you would.
Unbelievable. Super frustrating. Unbelievable.
You're not a regifter?
I know. No. I got. And matter of fact, your Christmas gift was just shipped. I just got an email saying that your Christmas gift just shipped.
I was pretty sure you got ripped off on that.
I was too, but I just got an email.
My Christmas gift?
Yes, I have a Christmas gift for you. It's been delayed for 4 months, but it just shipped, and it's awesome.
Okay.
It's going to be worth it.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's going to be worth it when it's all said and done.
To the house? Or
it was shipped to me, so I'll have to give it to you in person.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Hey, can I have 2 minutes before Benetti comes on? Just talk about my weekend because it was awesome. We didn't really talk about it at all this morning because so much baseball to talk.
Was it up at the Kraken Ice Complex?
It was not. No. The junior Kraken Navy team played their final games, Brock. After a tremendous run this year, we went up to Canada for 10U. This is the biggest tournament. This was an all-girls tournament, 175 girls teams from around North America.
Insanity.
And when I say North America, really just like Washington and Canada, like British Columbia, maybe a little bit outside of British Columbia, maybe a little.
Western North America.
I mean,
anybody from the Northwest Territories come down?
Yukon. Yeah, from the Yukon.
Territory.
The Yukon Wild were there. That was one of the teams. I was told one of the teams drove 24 hours to be there.
Alaska?
I didn't see any Alaska teams. We played teams from Vancouver, Victoria, and somewhere else. I don't know. But it was incredibly fun and just really cool to see all these gals playing, ages 8U all the way up to I think 20U or whatever it was, 18U. And there, 6 rinks all in one building and just nonstop turnover all the way through.
How many rinks they got at the Kraken Ice Complex?
They only have 3, but they've got 6 at this place up in Richmond. The Chinese food in Richmond, as good as advertised. Weird place. You ever been to Richmond, BC?
I've been through there. It is very eclectic.
Well, they've got these weird McMansions built right on top of the road, but with nobody in them.
Correct.
I don't know if they're tax shelters from. I don't know what's going on there, but that's very strange.
We're not going down that road.
No. But it was a great end to the year. They got spanked a little bit by the Canadian teams, who were very, 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 very good and skate much better than the American teams.
But that video you sent to the parents, it looks like you all enjoy. Man, what a fun group!
It was a really fun group.
That can be the best part of youth sports.
It was awesome
when it's right from a family standpoint. It is some special stuff.
Well, I'll shout out the families quickly because I've shouted out all the kids on this team before, and they were all awesome and did their thing, playing through pain and getting hit and getting back out there. And Cecily had a good weekend as well, and she grew a ton as a player this year, which was awesome and really, really fun to watch. But we had an amazing group of parents, just totally lucked into this cool community.
Yep.
And a shout out. They kind of, I think, were, a lot of them knew each other, and they took a chance on us. And we totally lucked out, man. We just absolutely loved this group. So huge shout out to all of them. Anyway, all right. Are you ready for Benetti? Speaking of being paired up and things working out really well, you and Benetti certainly worked out pretty well.
Love this guy.
Right?
I just love this
Your
guy.
favorite partner.
Love this guy.
I'm
not going to
your favorite partner.
So there's other partners that listen. I'm not going to say something.
Your favorite
like
partner in any capacity, I would say. Radio, TV, doesn't matter. Just your life.
For radio, for sure.
Your favorite life partner. Jason Benetti next on Brock and Salk.
4th down territory. Going inside the game with former Cougs and Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
The NFL is trying to clean up the game. What do they want to emphasize, and how do you feel about it?
The NFL wants to bring in more sportsmanship. And I understand they're saying, look, we want kids watching the game to learn from these guys. And listen, it is a good idea. But the ball player in me says, man, forget all that noise. This is football.
4th down territory. Every day at 11:15 and 1:15 on Bump and Stacy.
Hey, it's Mike Salk here. I want to talk a little bit about Eastside Weight Loss Clinic. I got an awesome text last week from the 775 saying that they were going to try it out for the first time and was feeling very optimistic and, super excited. So I'm excited to hear more about how it goes for that listener. Former big league pitcher, friend of the program, Ryan Rowland-Smith has already lost 30 pounds in just about 60 days. He's killing it, former professional athlete. So, when he stopped working out as much as he used to, he realized you can't outwork a bad diet. And so Eastside Weight Loss Clinic has helped Ryan build a plan that is giving him long-term habits so he can lose the weight and keep it off for life. Again, you know where to go, eastsideweightlossclinic.com. You can join me, Ryan Rowland-Smith, our texter from the 775, and a whole lot of other folks. Go to eastsideweightlossclinic.com. Dr. Ryan Coogan, D.C. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of, and then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Subscribe to the Seattle Sports YouTube page to find new and exclusive content from your favorite shows and personalities daily. Just head to YouTube, search Seattle Sports, and click subscribe.
Hi, this is Nancy Penrose, owner of Big Trees in Snohomish. Spring has sprung. Need color to brighten up your yard or privacy trees to keep your neighbors guessing? Now is the time to buy. With hundreds of trees arriving in the nursery daily, Big Trees has the perfect tree for you. Check out our updated inventory list online at bigtreesupply.com or come visit the nursery today.
They say teachers don't impact for a year, but for a lifetime. Hi, this is Rick Riz. Join WSECU, your local credit union, as we celebrate those who give so much with the Teacher of the Week program. Nominate a teacher you feel has changed a life in our community. Each week throughout the season, we'll honor one teacher with a $500 grant, courtesy of WSECU. Teachers are the real MVPs. Find out more and nominate a teacher at mynorthwest.com/teacher.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Brock and Salk.
Weekdays 6 to 10.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Hey, Brock.
You want to just handle the end of the show?
Well, I just had a question.
Because every time this happens, I feel like I got to just...
You just start giggling and that's the end of you?
I just got to go.
Before we bring him on, a quick question. Have you told Jason Benetti that you're done with college football next year? This isn't going to be like breaking news to him or anything, is it?
Did you just do this?
Well, I don't want to get you in trouble, but I wanted to just make sure that you had actually told him. Hi, Jason. Good morning. How are you? Hold on. Wait, we don't have any audio. We're missing Jason. Hold on a second. Hold on. We got to get the audio up. Jason, you there? Uh-oh.
He's hung up.
No, he's there. We got audio issues. Oh my gosh.
Oh.
We just heard him a second ago.
He didn't want to hear any of that. So.
I don't blame him. Yeah.
He's on mute.
Man, I got jokes for days. Jason's just talking away. We can't hear a thing he's saying. He's waving to us. He looks like he's on the beach, I think, in Maui.
This happens in every production meeting on Zoom. He forgets to hit mute.
Oh, you think that's what it is?
As brilliant as that mind is, every once in a while, he doesn't hit the mute. We didn't hear anything you said, Jason.
Oh, yeah. Still nothing.
Sorry.
No.
No?
All right. We probably have to call him. I don't know what's going on.
Doggone program!
I don't understand. It works fine, and then we get on the air.
Lyle? Is this a Lyle problem?
Probably not. No, this feels like back when we first started the Mike Salk Show and our phones never worked. And Justin and I had like a nonstop phone problem. So I don't know. Let's give up more. Let's just call him and kind of go from there. I don't know what's going on with the video element of it. We'll just we'll call Jason and we'll talk to him in a minute or two. God darn. I hate when that happens.
I know. We got it all ready to go. He's on video. We can hear him. And then just, unfortunately, those goons at AT&T.
Can we start yelling at somebody for this? Who should we yell at? Let's start yelling at somebody.
Justin. I'm yelling at Justin.
You want to yell at Justin Barnes?
Yep.
Barnesy!
Yep.
Come on!
Get up here, Barnes, and fix it.
Yeah.
This is your problem.
By the way, it looks like you were right. It's 18 hours to Sydney. A lot of people being very understanding about me getting it wrong, as you might imagine. It's 18, dummy. All right. You know what? I don't know if that's an intelligence
issue. Do you think she figured it out? Do you think Benetti figured it out?
I doubt it.
Yeah, okay.
No, I have no faith that that's happened. All right. You think we can hear Jason now? All right. Going in 3, 2, 1. Jason, good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are we?
Was it your fault all along?
So here's what happened. I came in the waiting room and I said hello, and whoever it was said hello back to me. But then for some reason it switched off of my AirPods or something. I don't know. Probably my fault. I think it's my fault. I'm the worst.
What are you going to do? Are you going to go like depression? Brock's leaving you? Like what's this next year going to be like? Are you going to move on quickly with a new partner? How do you feel about all this?
He will.
I think I'm just going to sing I Will Remember You over and over and over again to get myself to sleep. And then when we get to the chorus, we'll do it more. I'm disappointed. I'm heartbroken. I'm hurt. I'm sad that I found out during an intro of a radio show that I wasn't even on. That's why I turned my mic off. It was silent protest to the max. So, yeah, that all was a bit.
Yeah, that's funny. Do you know who you're going to be with next year?
I mean, maybe just myself. I'm just going to sit in a room and talk about football by myself while I eat like a Lunchables or something. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's painful, okay? Like, I don't know why we had to start here.
Agreed.
But, you know, I'm I'm aching inside.
You remember when I stuffed that honey Uncrustable in your mouth in Orlando? No, that wasn't Orlando. What was that? That was Lawrence or something.
No, I wasn't in Orlando.
No,
well, what I do remember is that it happened. What I don't remember is anything else, because repression is a wonderful drug.
All right, let's do a few minutes. Let's do some baseball conversation since you're here, and you're here with the Tigers, of course. 3-game series starts tonight. Last year, that didn't go very well for these Mariners. They had all kinds of problems with Detroit. What do the Tigers look like this year? Same dangerous team or better? Like, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, should be good in the long run. I think you're catching the Tigers at a pretty decent time. 3 center fielder injuries is not the way you want to leave spring training. So Parker Meadows, who made that wild catch last year to rob the home run, is out. He's got a nerve issue. Matt Vierling is out. Wenzel Perez is out. They have 3 center fielders out of the lineup. I will say, though, you leave a 3-game series with the Dodgers, you get swept by the Dodgers, and I think this is as good as you can feel about a 3-game sweep to start the year, because they played the Dodgers to the bitter end twice and then lost kind of going away for the Dodgers the other day. But they very easily could have won on Friday, and they scored runs. I think there are going to be teams that just don't score against the Dodgers. You're going to give up runs no matter what. There are going to be teams that don't score against the Dodgers. The Tigers scored runs, which is heartening to me.
Yeah, the Mariners, when they play the Dodgers, probably won't score a lot of runs. They got 8 in 4 games against the A's. I don't know. I know how you prep, how you study. You know your team inside and out, but you like to turn the pages of Baseball Savant and some of your other sites as you look at these Seattle Mariners as well. What jumped out to you in their first 4 games?
Yeah, it's hard. First 4 games is like whatever it is. I just saw Atlanta on Saturday against San Diego, and I don't think the Braves are an 0-4 team. Like, I think that offense is going to be pretty good. I'm interested that the stolen base number is, 5th in the league at this very early date. But, you didn't change a whole lot, I feel like, offensively. So, I know Cal's had a rough start and Julio's had a rough start, and, who knows what it looks like. But I can't help but think this still should have been a better offensive club last year. But the Randy Arozarena piece, he just has, other than big moments, it feels like it just hasn't been sustainable here. I don't know if it's like the chase rate or whatever it is, but there are names here that feel like it should be a better collective, and it just hasn't yet.
What do you make of these? What do you make? We haven't had much of a chance to talk about them today, but what do we make of the torpedo bats?
I'm telling you, you hear the phrase torpedo bat more in baseball circles than you do like walk or strikeout. This is one of those things that they're all available now, right? So it's everybody's fielding calls about them. If there is an advantage, I think it's going to end up evening out, because it's not like it's proprietary, which does, it does raise the question, is Major League Baseball going to have to go into the rule book and litigate bats and things like that too? But, there was that year in 2019 where Minnesota did all that damage from the middle of the plate, and they felt like they had it figured out, right? They were selecting pitches the right way, and they were hammering pitches, and Minnesota has never had a year like that after. And so I'm loath to overreact to the beginning of a baseball season, but when you have something like that it's the Brewers are like, please, somebody check the bat. The first thing I think of, you remember, I think it was Albert Bell, right? And there was a question about his bat, and Jason Grimsley, his teammate, this was like 30 years ago, went through the ductwork of a ballpark to go take the bat from like the umpire's room or something as it was being checked. There was a whole scandal, and I just want more of that now. I want more of players climbing through ductwork to try to save bats from being checked. That's what I like.
I love speaking in triplets, and I love alliteration. So I love Jackson Jobe. Tell me about this guy. Is he really one of the top pitching prospects in all of baseball the Mariners will face tonight?
He is. This stuff is absolutely electric. He's talked about the nerves. Yeah, no, but if you wait him out, there might be availability for a walk or two, depending on where the nerves are. But he is one of those guys that I'm really happy got the experience. I love that sound, Salk. They got the experience last year in the postseason, because I think that helps him in a situation like this. But in spring training last year, AJ Hinch brought him in. One of the games we did on TV, AJ Hinch brought him in. It was his first big league spring training game. He had him throw the ninth. And he just wanted to put him in like a mini pressure cooker and say, hey, how did this go for you? And he aced it. And so the stuff is just wired, absolutely wired. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I'm excited for the kid, and it's all been out of the bullpen before. So this is his very first start in the big leagues, and we'll see.
What's going on with your background there? Where are you? What are we looking at here?
I think I'm in the Hotel California, honestly. If we're being totally honest, the only thing missing is the pink champagne on ice.
Yeah.
I will tell you, this is the very Brock is going to love this fact. Just love this fact. He's going to be talking about it for days. It's going to be that thing that he latches onto, and you're just going to be like, please stop it. Stop. There is a mirror in my shower.
Oh, that's all that is?
No, this is not my shower. There's also a mirror here and there, and then there's another one when you're using the toilet. There's a mirror.
Why are there so many mirrors?
This place leads the league in mirrors. I have no idea.
What hotel are you at?
There are a lot of.
Oh, you can't tell us.
I'm at a hotel in Seattle. I don't want to give it away.
Right. No, I get it.
I will tell you when I come back on the show, whenever that is. But there's a mirror in my shower, which raises the question: when is the last time you thought, as you were washing yourself, I'd like to watch this? This would be a great ratings grab.
Well, I would say probably more recently than I've thought that while on the toilet.
Yeah, but you have both here available, Salk. And the only when I came in the room and I saw all of those, the first thing I did after that was look up while I was in bed.
Yep, to see if there was
just
one
to
there.
make sure.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Wow,
just to make sure.
If only this was the hotel that you locked yourself into the bathroom. If only. Where was that? Was that Tucson? Where was it that you
was
screamed?
Fort Myers.
Hey, can we get? Are we gonna get Benetti's? Are we gonna get his college football thing?
Oh yeah. Were you able to come up with 3 names? I texted you earlier. Any college football players? So we flipped the calendar to April. Jason and I do these draft profiles, and I really do it based on our travels over the college football season. Guys that I've come across that I just kind of fall in love with. Were there 2 or 3 this year in particular on the trail that stuck with you?
Yeah, the number one most intriguing to me, like what is he going to be in the NFL and where does he land, is Tez Johnson. I think that kid from Oregon, is he big enough, all of that, but if you need a returner, I wonder what that looks like. I mean, Shadur is a pretty easy one, but the name that has popped up a bunch in the last week on my social media based on combine stuff and people evaluating is Teteroa McMillan. And you and I never saw him have a big game in a game that we were doing. But the measurables and all that stuff. And I wonder what that ends up looking like because it's real, it's real. Like the athleticism is real, but we never saw him have a big game.
And then, what came out was, I don't watch football. I don't like watching tape. I watch enough tape in my player meetings. And I'm like, that's whoever his agent is like, oh, dump that place. Somebody, please dump that sound. No bueno. What about Jay Higgins, linebacker from Iowa? I profiled him today and just spoke so glowingly of our meeting with him. He struck me, Jason, of all the linebackers, defensive guys we've met through the years, that guy was just a grown man.
Yeah, the question will be, is it because he was in that system of triangles? So, do you ever ask Brock about the triangles at Iowa?
I got to hear about it about an hour and a half ago.
Why don't you give an impersonation?
Oh,
Ryan Divish and others so badly wanted the Jason Benetti Brock impersonation about triangles. So if you're so willing and so kind, you seem to love to do this.
Yeah, they're isosceles, they're acute angles, they're obtuse. Wow. I mean, wow.
very good.
Yeah, that's pretty much what he said at about 8 o'clock this morning as he was talking about Iowa and their triangle defense.
Phil Parker.
I was reading about perpendicular bisectors, and it is, wow.
Whoa. Do you want to ask him to stick around, or do you want to let him go?
I think we got to let him go.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I got a little delay.
I'm going to go look at myself.
I might start laughing too hard. I love Benetti. I think I might start laughing too hard. Enjoy your time here in Seattle. Enjoy your mirrors and your showers and everything else that comes with it.
Think about that when you're in the shower next. Gee, I wonder if I could just watch this. What that would look like. Oh, great.
Goodbye.
What a revelation.
Have a great day. We love you.
Bye, Jason.
Adios.
There you go.
Wow.
The great Jason Benetti, Brock's former partner now, and, of course, the voice of the Detroit Tigers.
Any texts come in of what hotel that is in Seattle that's full of all sorts of mirrors in your bathroom?
There are a couple.
There are. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
A lot of people saying they have a mirror in their shower for shaving, which, I think that makes sense. Some people have like the little,
the little round
mirror, whatever, but like full mirror in the shower? Why would you want that? Nobody wants that. Right? Who wants to? I certainly don't want to look at myself while I'm showering, or I don't want mirrors in general. I never want to look at myself. If I could make that just never happen, it would be fine. You know who likes looking at himself in the mirror?
Lyle.
Guy who throws three plates over there, and he's learning culture. So let's see what we've got today. This is the problem with his generation. Not only do they not know anything, they don't want to learn anything.
Spark Notes was a great tool in high school.
This is ridiculous.
What are we doing here, Lyle? What are we talking about?
Help Lyle get himself up to speed with the culture.
Well, we realize that we've been doing all movies with Lyle, trying to teach our 27-year-old friend here about his past, about his history, and he's done a good job, right?
Yes.
Watching quite a bit. But it came out last week or a couple weeks ago that he could not name one Pearl Jam song, which was odd. Not one. Didn't know Alive, didn't know Even Flow.
Was Yellow Ledbetter playing on a speaker on my field on Saturday with Titus and his high school teammates? And I said, can any of you tell me the words to this song?
Did any of them, have they ever heard the song?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So Lyle,
Lyle's not alone.
This weekend, Lyle listened to 10. Pearl Jam's 10. One of a couple of albums that changed the world when it came out.
What year was that?
91, 92.
Oh.
I don't know. I think it probably came out in 91 and kind of got popular in 92 would be my guess. But right in that range, 91, 92. Changed music, right? Along with Nirvana and a couple other bands, mostly here from Seattle, taking the, pop metal off the rock charts and completely replacing it with grunge. Lyle, what did you make of Pearl Jam's 10?
This is not going to go well.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, my big takeaway is I was wildly unimpressed.
Oh.
You guys made me watch some great movies, and I liked all of them, and I really enjoyed them. But, man, that did not move the needle one bit.
Really?
Not one bit.
Wow.
I was basically just bored listening to it. Like, I know a bunch of the different songs change the pace and the tone's different, but does not get the juices going, I got to tell you. No.
Wow.
Oh, so Morris says the same thing.
Wow.
Like, okay, I'll say this. Even Flow is probably the best song, in my opinion, on the album. And I know that's probably the most popular one. I also realized after hearing that one that is probably a song I've heard before.
Right.
I think it might be on Guitar Hero. So that is
as
probably
I've
where
said
I heard
before,
it.
I think that is the song that I've heard on the radio more than any other song.
Is that right?
I think so. Like, I don't know how I would go about proving that. But like in my lifetime, I think that's the song I've heard the most number of times on the radio.
All right. So that one was all right. The rest of them...
You didn't like any other song?
Didn't do it for me, I got to tell you. You know what the worst part was?
You better be careful. McCready could be listening.
You know what the worst part was?
What was the worst part?
The last song on there, Release.
Is that Release Me? Yeah, or Release.
This band has the audacity to make a song over 9 minutes. Like, the song could have ended at 5 minutes long. No song should ever be more than 5.5 minutes, by the way. This band has the audacity to just let people sit through 4 minutes of boring instrumental music instead of moving on to another song. Like,
you know what Salk and Benetti could have done? Watch your mouth about no song can be over 5 minutes.
There it is.
and Benetti could have sung, what's the Gordon Lightfoot song about the ship sinking?
The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
You and Benetti could have sung every word of that.
When the Winds of November, remember?
That's 9 minutes long, Lyle. So there are some songs
some great,
that can be over
great
5.5
long
minutes.
I'm not so sure.
Alive? You didn't like Alive?
What if I told you Alive? What if I told you Alive put me to sleep?
Oh, put him to sleep.
Oh,
jeez.
Okay, and
How about Jeremy?
Porch, Jeremy.
Jeremy. How about Jeremy?
I think this is a very accurate
Black?
review.
See?
Oh,
Something's
none of
on
them.
my side here. I got to tell you, it's not all old music that I don't like. Again, all those songs from the song
All
track.
right, so we got to go in a different direction. I think it's very clear. More, we got to go in a different direction. We need to get clearly. Grunge did not move the needle for Lyle. Do we need to give him?
Again, all the songs on the soundtrack of Dazed and Confused, like, I think are solid songs.
Okay,
How
so you
does
like
grunge,
some
how does
classic rock.
grunge not in any way move the needle?
You didn't like
It
it.
wasn't very good. You know what?
Do you work out to that, Brock?
Yeah, Alive? Hey, I'm still alive. Hey, oh, I'm still alive. In 1994, riding the bus to the state tournament. Did the whole bus sing Alive? Hey, I'm still alive. Yes, Maura, yes.
Okay.
I got to tell you.
Even though.
Stop it. Oh my God.
Yes.
You know what my biggest takeaway is from listening to this album, honestly? And this is honestly a life lesson. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And I'm going to tell you why. Because all the music that I've grown up loving and listening to and people in my generation listen to just gets trashed on by the generation above me for all the Lil Uzi Verts and Don Tollivers and Travis Scotts that I like in the world. Just gets trashed on by the generation above saying, you know, they're mumbling and they change their voice and they use auto-tune and you can't understand what they're saying. I didn't understand half the lyrics in that album. Like, you cannot make out the words.
That's a fair complaint.
The text line is actually agreeing with Lyle for the most part. Pearl Jam is perhaps the most overrated band.
Wow.
Grew up in 253, graduated in 94. I always felt they were overrated. 41, lived in Washington my whole life. Don't know a single Pearl Jam song.
All right, Maura. Do you think we should have Lyle listen to The Chronic?
Yes.
The first one or the second one? Or both? Do you know any songs by Dre, Snoop, etc.?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know if I've listened to The Chronic or not. The album.
Yeah.
I mean, I like those guys, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe we'll do that.
That I can look forward to.
That kind of just hurt my heart a little bit.
Oh, sorry, Brock.
I'm not even a music aficionado.
No, you're
and
not.
that still kind of stung.
Yeah.
It was like a shot at the 90s Northwest. It was the glory days. That hurt.
All right, there you go. Lyle Learns Culture. We've been doing that on Mondays, and he's done a heck of a job with all of his homework. That's the first thing that he didn't really like. So how about that?
I appreciate the opinion.
Yeah?
Have a take.
Yeah?
It's a hard take.
Text message. He didn't like Black. He's straight tripping. All right. Thank you, Lyle, for all of your efforts. See how the Mariners do tonight.
Encourage this Job guy. He's not very good. They can maybe wait him out.
At least he's not a soft-tossing lefty.
Yeah, you can wait him out for a walk.
When he said that, I was just like, uh-oh. That's not what you needed
to
hear.
And then Scooble on Wednesday. All right.
Okay. All right. Okay, good. All right. Okay. Here we go.
Herd them loins. Pass it tomorrow.
Well, I was going to say Bump and Stacy next, but I see Mike Lefko in the room. I think it's Lefko and Bump today. It's kind of exciting. See what that's all about. Stick around for that. We'll catch you guys tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. Yes, with Brady Henderson from the owners' meetings and with Jeff Passan for the first time this year. Until then, Brock, the hey
in the barn
is in the barn. See you, everybody.
Get to the chopper!
Seattle Sports, your home for Bump and Stacy. Weekdays 10 to 2.
What might be different with Dan Wilson? The type of baseball that feels slightly more sustainable. Like when they won last year, this is what it looked like.
Yeah.
Maybe you score late, maybe your run production is in an inning, maybe two. It's usually bombs, and then your pitching is elite enough to hold the other team to two or less.
Bombs won the game, but we know the philosophy of this team is kind of just put the ball in play and advance these runners.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
The smart way to improve home comfort is a new heat pump. New heat pumps from Home Comfort Alliance provide efficient heating and cooling in one unit. Upgrade today and enjoy 18 months same as cash financing and up to 15% off through March. Visit homecomfortalliance.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment and paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
March is here, and Toyota of Renton and Toyota of Kirkland have teamed up to take away your car buying madness. At Toyota of Kirkland and Toyota of Renton, they have the widest selection of new and certified used inventory and the largest savings in the region. Now that's a slam dunk. The all-star staff at Toyota of Renton and Kirkland will assist you with a test drive, and you can score that car the very same day. Come see for yourself or visit online at toyotaofrenton.com or toyotaofkirkland.com.
Lowe's knows that your deadlines don't change, even when your job does. But with Lowe's Buy Online, Pick Up in Store, we'll help you adjust on the fly. And when you absolutely can't leave the project, we can deliver to your job site as soon as same day. Lowe's knows pros. We help, you save. Valid on eligible in-stock orders and select zip codes placed by 2 p.m. for same-day delivery by 8 p.m. Subject to driver availability. Fees vary based on purchase. More terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Progressive knows when you're on your boat, you're already on vacation. And Vacation You forgets all your worries. Vacation You doesn't even keep track of time and knows that time is a meaningless construct designed to control us, man. But Regular You knows you don't want to be too far out in the water after the sun goes down because Vacation You doesn't know how to navigate in the dark yet. Vacation You and Regular You really need to get on the same page. So bundle your boat with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for you too. Stubborn fat is really hard to get rid of. And then there's all those gimmicky lasers, fat freezing methods, and prescriptions. Imagine a simple solution that takes just one day and provides immediate noticeable results. Introducing ProSculpt. ProSculpt uses air-assisted technology that's safe and gentle yet powerful, delivering instant fat-reducing and skin-tightening results. Performed by board-certified plastic surgeons while fully awake, ProSculpt contours your body with minimal downtime. It's designed to target those problem areas: waistline, neck, face, arms, thighs. ProSculpt gently removes unwanted fat and tightens loose skin with FDA-cleared plasma technology, all in a simple, guaranteed one-day procedure. ProSculpt is one and done. Schedule your free consultation at prosculpt.com for $250 off. For powerful permanent fat removal and skin tightening that works for ladies and you men, it's prosculpt.com.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
Look, there's feelings and then there's the facts.